Hey everyone, welcome to our first annual July Free Agent Frenzy here on the Cats and Rats YouTube channel side. We've been doing this for a couple of years now over on the Twitter X platform side, but glad to be joining you guys here now. I'm your host, Kirby Lupel, joined alongside my wonderful producer, as always, Big C's, my Cats and Rats co-host, Cody Stevens and Nick Levine, and Vincent Scheib doing a lot of work for us here in the offseason on the Cats and Rats channel. But gentlemen, before we start, I'm going to throw it to you first, Nick, but I think we can only start one place. The Mitch Marner penned letter to Leafs Nation and fans. I think that's where we got to start, right, Nick? Just saw that today released.
No, I didn't see it.
We got to pull that up on the screen.
He said,
Wait, really? Is it on their
it should be on their Instagram or Twitter.
Yeah. I found it. Would you like me to read it?
Actually, you guys don't have to. Hey, Vegas fans,
please give us a dramatic reading of it, Nick. I'm sure we'd all love it.
For you.
No, it's so long, really.
No, you don't have to.
It's so long. I don't want to hear that.
Anyways,
I'm just joking.
So, just a couple of things to break down here. Most recently, some minor deals. Lafferty back to Chicago for a 6th round pick from Buffalo. A little while ago, Zach Bolduc from St. Louis goes to Montreal in exchange for defenseman Logan Mailloux, however the hell you pronounce it.
Mailloux.
Panthers re-signed Daniil Tarasov this morning, 1 year, I believe, at $1.05 million. Victor Arvidsson is on his way to Boston for a 5th round pick in 2027. No salary being retained, so there is something up there in Edmonton. And the top goalie potentially is off the market. Jake Allen, 5 years, $1.8 million AAV. There's obviously still a lot of different players available, but Vladislav Gavrikov is now on the open market. A lot of rumors of him to New York. We'll see where that ends up. And you take a look. Frank Saravelli reports Ryan Lindgren. The Avalanche have been trying to keep, but he will be making it to the open market. So you can still re-sign. However, we'll see what happens there. Nikolai Ehlers, Brock Besser, top forwards on the open market. No news on them just yet. And Cody Ceci, according to Elliot Friedman this morning, his expected landing spot is Los Angeles, but that is not confirmed as of yet. Okay. And Ryan Rishaug also just says, keep an eye on Adam Henrique. That's a contract the Oilers might have to move if they want to go big game hunting. I said that on TSN.
Okay, sorry, Nick.
So we'll see what happens there. And, that's pretty much it for right now.
Okay, I got to jump in. Rats history here. We are now Super Chat enabled. Our great moderator, Ryan, here, he's making us dig here on the Mitch Marner thing here with our first Super Chat here. He's saying it was AI generated. So that really wasn't from Mitch Marner's heart, that letter? That's a little disappointing.
He said all he had.
Mitch Marner is part of our first Super Chat. There we go.
There we go. And, thank you, Ryan, our moderator. We love you, man. And, congratulations, guys. We did it. We couldn't have done it with all of you guys without all of you in our chat. So we really appreciate it.
Yeah, make sure to follow the Big C's channel as well below. We're simulcasting out.
And stay to the end to the stream because, as you guys know, the whole postseason, I created a new segment called the FSU Trash Can Player of the Game.
There we go.
Today, there will be an FSU Trash Can Free Agent Deal of the Day and then an FSU Trash Can GM of the Day. So
the GM, I knew that was coming.
We will see. I'm going to do deal and GM. I'm going to try and separate it. But if it's the same thing, I don't care. It's just trash. But the front runner right now is Mr. Patrick Alvin out there in Vancouver because starting next year for the next 3 years after the season, they will be paying their goalies $13 million. Thatcher Demko getting a 3-year, $8.5 million AAV extension today.
Wow.
On top of Kevin Lankinen having a 5 by 4.5 AAV.
Yeah, that $4.5 million deal on Lankinen. I still
with Archer Shelov's in tow.
Yeah.
But starting with the Panthers, they made one move today. They've 2 moves. Like I think Nick's alluded to earlier. Tomas Nosek back.
Yeah.
The Panthers 1 year, $775. I don't know how he didn't get a raise, but guess what? He's still here.
The term and the AAV, Cody. Unbelievable. Coming off of the cup.
Right.
Bill Zito working his magic. Because I think Nosek could have easily got $1.5–2 million out there on the open market, especially being a center from a Stanley Cup winning team.
But I kind of
So-
want to go back what I said yesterday, sort of. Nosek used to be a teammate with Marchand, so I think that signing really did help keep him here.
Yeah. I don't know how the hell him and Kachuk are still teammates from that mic'd up battle they had.
You know,
I-
what CSN and Sportsnet are saying today, guys. It used to be like, the core 4, your core 6.
We have the core 10.
Like the core 10, 11.
It's crazy.
They're
Dude,
shaking their heads right now.
It's crazy because they were talking about Toronto yesterday, or not Toronto, Tampa Bay, right? We're talking about how Tampa Bay, they had the opportunity before COVID, and I was listening to Spit and Chicklets again last night, and they had the chance of keeping their core guys. Then COVID hit, and then they ended up having to just let go of a lot of players. So this is a perfect opportunity that Florida is taking because the salary cap is rising, and we're using it to our advantage to keep our core guys. So, shout out to Bill Zito. Shout out to the players for wanting to stay. And that Aaron Ekblad deal yesterday helps out tremendously. So,
I want to throw to Vince
awesome.
here I want to throw to Vince here in a moment. If you can get the cap numbers up for Florida, we might want to share it on the screen. Cody, what were you saying there?
Just the other thing with Tampa, and this doesn't get talked about too much. They have swung and they have missed on like the low budget signings that Zito has hit on.
Right.
Because they've tried to go that route, and they've tried, with like Luke Glendening, Cam Atkinson. I'm blanking on probably some other guys, but
they just bought out Connor Sherry, who was supposed to be one of their depth additions.
Yep, and they haven't hit on those really either at all. But and now once again, you're doubling down on Andrei Vasilevsky playing 60+ games a year with this backup goalie of Jonas Johansson here, because it doesn't seem like Cooper trusts him all too much. So it's going to be interesting to see what they do this year, because it's looking like first or second round exit for them again. But
crazy.
Vince, how are we looking at the cap situation going into today?
Well, going into today, we were slightly over the cap. The Marchand extension put us about $600,000 over the cap. As of right now, we sit $2,175,000 over the salary cap. Exactly that much. I did include our Puckpedia page if someone wants to share that.
Yes, you guys can share those to our audience.
Okay. So we are slightly over. We are going to have to make some space here. We don't have to make space immediately. I mentioned this yesterday, but in case there is someone who was not here yesterday to hear that, you're allowed to be 10% over the salary cap in the offseason. It's only when the season starts do you have to get back below the floor. Back below the limit, I'm sorry. So Zito does have a little bit of leeway to work with. I wouldn't be surprised if he decides, let me just make the moves I need to make, sign the guys I need to sign, and then go from there in terms of clearing space. So don't expect many additions today because we're already over the cap. But
if anything does happen, maybe trades, right? The Rodriguez situation. Who else? The
possibly
Boquist.
Jesper Boquist.
Yep. So that's something to keep an eye on. Now it might not happen today. It might happen during the summer or before the season starts. So we just got to keep an eye on that as well.
Yes, exactly. I think it might not happen today, might not happen tomorrow, but it is something to keep an eye on as the offseason progresses. And Chucky might be on LTIR to start the season too. That's another thing that kind of puts a wrinkle in the whole thing. But the only thing is you can't have LTIR in the offseason. It's not a thing. That's why they have the 10% cushion.
Question on that, Vince, because the CBA is changing how the LTIR works on the new deal. They're saying any player that makes $4 million plus and they're on LTIR, if they are on LTIR through that any time of that season and they don't play, they can't play in the playoffs. So that's the new rule that they're implementing. Does that start this year or next year on 2026?
It starts in 2026 because it was negotiated as part of an extension of the CBA. So it's not supplanting what's already in place. This will be put in place after this current CBA expires in 2026.
Okay, cool. Thank you for explaining that.
But
You're welcome. And before I throw it back to you guys, I do just want to say happy Canada Day to our subscribers and listeners north of the border.
Thank you, Vince.
wow, no Vince joke on this one, huh?
Hey, Cody. I want to also mention.
I'm keeping it light. I'm keeping it focused.
Yes, thank you. I appreciate that, Vince. Cody, don't drag him off track here. Also, we want to mention here, we didn't mention off the top, Nick, we're going to be doing the Aaron Ekblad contest giveaway. We're going to announce the winner here.
Yes.
We got a winner. We got a winner. Winner, chicken dinner. Let's go.
So hang tight here. So the next half an hour or so, Nick.
And Bob, according to Bob McKenzie, a lot of deals obviously already done, but they're not going to be announced right at 12 because of the tampering thing. They don't want to give off that appearance. So it's going to be a little bit before we start getting any news.
Well, we got about a minute here, guys. And
what bad deals we going to get today?
Brock Besser, big talk of like every team being involved with him, whether it's a playoff team, Cody, or a non-playoff team. Nikolai Ehlers, what reports now that this is probably not going to happen today there, who's like the biggest name free agent still available on the board. So,
I think he's signed today.
They were saying on TSN about 20 minutes ago, Bob McKenzie was actually saying that don't expect it to be today. So it'll be interesting. Like, are you guys think any trades are going to happen here? Because like how everything played out there yesterday, where teams are looking at how much cap availability they have on the market. Do trades even take place here today?
That's
the
what
hockey.
I was kind of thinking. If anything happens with Florida and that aspect, if any moves, we did all of our signings prior to today. So if anything does happen with Florida besides the Nosek deal today, I would expect maybe a trade.
And I'm just saying that in general, guys, like across the board, that are we going to see hockey trades and deals here today?
Look, the thing is, I do expect 1 or 2 signings from Florida, but nothing over $1 million. If you were to ask me, that's my guess.
What is our roster looking at now?
It's basically the same lineup as what we posted the last playoffs.
Same forwards, same
Just
top 4, 5, and all 6 defensemen were on the team last year, including Balinskis. So, another thing also to mention, Nate Schmidt will be a former Panther soon. He's headed to the open market. Will not be returning.
Thank you, Nate Schmidt, for your service.
Yes,
dude, hell of a guy.
He's better than OEO. I will not hear this conversation.
Yes, and yes, Leslie, thank you for joining us today. We don't. It's not 100% sure that Rodriguez is leaving, but that's what it looks like. It could happen either today, tomorrow, anytime in the off season, or maybe before the season starts. So, we'll just stay tuned with us.
But it is now 12:01, boys. So
hey,
free agency is officially open.
Okay.
Let's go.
And now we wait.
Yep. Now it becomes a big waiting game.
How's everybody's day going?
This was not as exciting as it was a week ago.
No, it was not.
I don't think it was exciting as yesterday. Holy moly! Yesterday was.
I can't believe I went to go see a movie. Very good. Like, how dare I do that? I'm going to go see it again because it was really good. But if you're an F1 fan, I'd recommend you go see F1.
It looks really good.
It is really good. Brad Pitt did a pretty good job.
And kind of going back to the Rodriguez thing, a lot of people never liked that signing. They said it was too rich for us, but I loved Rodriguez for what
Who didn't
he's
like
done
that
for-
signing?
There's a lot of people in our community and in our spaces community that did not like Rodriguez. So, he's done a tremendous job with us. Just being able to move up and down the lineup. He could literally play on any line. His versatility was far second to none. Helping us win last year's first Stanley Cup. He was a big pivotal on that win, right? Last year. Just had a really good Stanley Cup Finals last season, scoring a couple critical goals. And one thing I'll always remember is him and Matthew Tkachuk waterboarding me at 11. I'll never
Yeah,
forget
but you
that.
nearly
Iraq.
dying. Yes.
So he is part
Shout
of
out to him. He was the one that was holding the cup. So I
Okay.
love the guy. He had the biggest smile on his face when that happened, and forever he will forever be a Florida Panther. Now he's not left yet, so but if he does, we definitely appreciate his services.
Yeah, I remember Evan Rodriguez coming in with the Panthers, and I think they had that charity golf tournament right around that time, and he was just great to the fans, the community, everything like that. And he's been an integral part. This is a guy from up northeast that's really made roots down in South Florida now, and will forever be a Florida Panther with these seasons that he's had here. And again, maybe this is a guy that, Caesar was alluding to. Some of the fans weren't happy. They want the flashy names, whether it was Matt Duchene at the time or another player that they might be more familiar with. But Nick, I always look at this now, Cody. When we brought Nico Mikkel in, a lot of the stuff that we heard with the community. How's this guy going to replace
Well,
Rapp?
speaking of flashy names, it is to Cody. No Juleson. We got a deal. 1 year, $900,000, one-way deal with the Philadelphia Flyers. So that's the first deal of the day. Cody, you can.
So that was
Cody's. You could have informed me there, Nick. You could have informed me there.
Hey, that's a minor deal, so we're only
Okay,
doing ones that people probably know who.
We'll do
the hell
Ehlers
they
and
are.
Besser for and CC and Averkov.
You can do bigger than those guys. But that is a minor deal. That was one of the bargain bin guys that Cody was shopping for as a 6th, 7th demon.
I wasn't shopping. You just told me the name of him, and he was one of the names I named.
That list there.
Manoah Juleson, former Panther.
That's right.
Wow.
Former Panther.
Former Canadian, former Ranger.
Really, he took that puck in the face when he was in Montreal. Really's had a tough time getting back to it ever since. He's good. I'm happy he's still in the NHL. He's gonna have a pretty good shot in Philly, and we'll see what happens. I mean, 1 year, $900K. Look, worst case scenario, he's buried in the minor leagues. You don't have to worry about that cap it.
Just to throw to Vince here when he's ready on the Philadelphia cap situation. Is this a team that had a lot of money, Vince, coming into the summer? And this is a team where these guys are extending with their teams. Players don't have maybe Philadelphia on their list like they would have, 10, 15, 20 years ago. What are they going to be doing here? Are they looking for the trade route possibility? I know they have a lot of prospects that are kind of brewing and coming up within their system, but what's the plan here for Philadelphia heading into next season?
Well, Philadelphia entered today with about $15 million in cap space. They're down to 14.2 with the Juleson signing. Obviously, they're a team that they've been out of the playoffs the past few years. They do want to get back into them. I wouldn't be surprised if they went out and tried to get some of these bigger names that were on the market, but they did make a bit of a splash earlier about a week or two ago when they traded for Trevor Zegras from Anaheim before the draft. So I do expect them to continue to try and sign guys maybe more on the younger side. Maybe they make 1 or 2 forays into the bigger names. But since they're not a playoff team, they do have some competition there in terms of destination. They don't have that much competition in terms of money because they do have money to work with. When you have $14 million, like you're gonna be in there for a few. But I would expect the Flyers to mostly keep it to like B, C level buys rather than the top level guys. I don't expect to see Nick Ehlers or Vladislav Gavrikov in Philadelphia orange at the end of today.
But Vince, like a lot of these guys, they don't have Philadelphia on their destination list. So they're doing a lot through trades. The Drysdale trade that we saw last year, like you just mentioned, the Zegras deal. So that's where they're going to have to be able to find and kind of build the core of this team and maybe move out some of these prospects for established NHL pros, veterans.
It's possible. I mean, they've also they also had to move out Cutter Gauthier in that Drysdale deal purely because they kind of just screwed it up with him. But there is a tantalizing core in Philadelphia that a player might want to be a part of. Matvei Michkov is there, and he was fantastic last year. They do have some other young players that do look kind of interesting. On the back end, if you're talking about a trade, I would not be surprised to see them move Rasmus Ristolainen and try to cash in on him, whether it is in a hockey trade or in a let's get some assets for him that we could do something with later. I think that's a route that they probably go, especially with the defense market looking really thin. And Risto kind of having a mini career renaissance in the past few years with Philadelphia, where he went from borderline unplayable to a pretty decent second pairing guy at that cap hit. He makes $5.1 million right now. I'd expect Philly to be more active in the trade market than free agency, and I would expect Ristolainen's name to be a huge part of that.
Mm-hmm.
And there's some big news for the Dolphins. I don't know if you just saw Cody, kind of like throwing it off. Darren Waller is coming back from retirement and has been acquired by the Dolphins from the Giants.
Yeah. Still kind of
throwing a
laughing at
curveball.
that.
Just kind of
just
throwing a
wanted
little curveball there.
Dolphins, you're getting carved by the national media yesterday on ESPN radio.
Wait, we were?
Yeah, on
For
that.
what?
While we're saying that, Minor re-signing Colin Blackwell stays in Dallas 2 years, $775 AAV. News is slow right now. Hopefully it picks up, but starting to see some deals trickle in here. And as we say that, actually, Elliot Friedman says he doesn't think we're going to hear anything on Nick Ehlers today. This one's going to play out a bit, of course.
How the heck?
I said earlier.
What free agency class is this guy the headliner? Like, this is like.
That makes today more boring.
But how are we getting card for a trade? We actually made a good trade. That makes no sense.
But yeah, if Ehlers isn't even signed today, then it's going to be a
My
long
man's taking the Marner tour, apparently.
Everybody, we thought that Marner, there was speculation that he might take a few days to sign, right?
That agent always playing games. Darren Ferris. But again, like this.
We have a signing. We were just talking about Philadelphia. They have signed Christian Dvorak to a 1-year deal worth $4.5 million. So Dvorak to Philadelphia on a 1-year deal worth $4.5 million. So
wow, that's a lot.
So that's they wanted to spend money. They get a center there. I'm not really sure what the need at center was off the top of my head. I think it was Couturier. Is there other people there? But Dvorak to Philadelphia.
The former London Knight, right?
Yes, with
the best player on that line with Mitch Marner and Matthew.
$4.5 million for Christian Dvorak, whose career high came in 1920 with the Arizona Coyotes, which was 38 points.
Yeah, I did do it for Christian Dvorak, Ryan, because it's going to be a slow day. So
yeah, that's
going to use it.
Yeah.
Anything above 1 million, Nick.
Oh, forget what I said. It's 5.4 million. Elliot Friedman.
What?
He had the salary backwards. So
that's insane.
5.4 million for Christian Dvorak. Oh my gosh.
The good news on this deal is it's a 1-year deal. So if Philly does need to move it or want to move it, they can do that. And if it really is so bad they can't move it, you only have to deal with him for a season and then he's gone. In terms of center need, they do have Sean Couturier. Trevor Zegras can play center, but I don't know if they're going to use him as a center. And then outside of that, it's like Noah Cates and Rodrigo Abel. So they did need a center coming into today. I don't hate this signing for Philly, mostly just because it's only 1 year. Like, if it sucks, it's 1 year.
Okay.
Good point.
I just want to jump in cap floor situation with the Flyers, and then what is the number now, Vince, as well?
So the cap floor number is $70.6 million. The Flyers, with 80.
What are they at now?
Before the signing, they had a cap hit of $81 million, so they were over the floor.
Okay.
They didn't need to make big signings just to reach the floor, take on dead salary. This is Danny Briere, their GM up in the city of brotherly love, deciding we need help at center. Dvorak's one of the better centers on the market. It's a thin free agent class, guys. And pulling the trigger on the move.
David,
I have a funny feeling you're going to be needing that trash can for a lot worse deals than this one, Cody.
And as Adrian Dater, he's I believe a beat reporter with Colorado, says the Avs are in on Nikolai Ehlers. He's told, but there are a lot of competitors, and if he wants to play in Denver, he might have to take a bit less than full market value. Plus, there arguably isn't any room on the top 6 right now. He says it's unlikely he becomes an Av, but he doesn't know.
33 points gets you 5.4, huh? He's getting paid more than Marchand.
That's insane. That's insane.
David,
But it's only a 1 year deal, right?
Okay, but here's the thing. Like, you're going to have to try and move this guy at the deadline. And you're going to have to, and the team's going to have 2.6, maximum $2.6 million of cap space to get Christian Dvorak, unless they want to throw in another team in there.
Well, Cody, one more thing to keep in mind is the Metro division was extremely weak last year.
This ain't going to make them much better.
The Metro was weak. I think Philly senses an opportunity, and Michkov's going to keep developing. If the change of scenery helps out Zegras, then yeah, bringing in Dvorak does help, and it's more about internal improvement from Michkov's, the change of scenery for Zegras, the continuing improvement of the guys on the back end. Philly's relying more on what they already have than the guys they're bringing in free agency, at least.
Because I'm assuming here they're going to play Dvorak above Cates, considering the salary here. Because Cates is only making 4, Dvorak's making 5.4. And if I were Philly, I'm trying Zegras at center to start. Just so I can have him play with Michkov. Because I'm assuming that's the vision there. Non-free agency news. Dallas has officially hired Glenn Gulutzan as their new head coach. So,
not a big fan. That's the guy that had Sam Bennett on the sideline playing wing. Yeah, one of the many coaches.
But now it's official now. What's up, Rock and Noel? So Gulutzan is now the new head honcho in Dallas. Hopefully he actually rides his best goalie.
Dude, that's crazy because then they should have just kept DeBoer.
No, they shouldn't have.
Yeah, I'm with that.
They should have hired a better guy. I would have picked Laviolette. I would have picked Laviolette.
Well, yeah,
but my guy.
But if you're going to pick
the coach, Caesar, and then they go with, I don't know what we're doing. Let's hire that guy.
But with what DeBoer pulled in Game 5 of the Western Conference Finals, I would have fired him the day after.
Okay, Vince gets upset with retread head coaches. I get upset with retread assistant caliber coaches that think they're head coaches. That's what I'm not for that. Like, you're either a head coach or you're not a head coach. Speaking for one myself, where did I start as assistant coach? But you're not a head coach. You fail right away. Not likely good chance, likelihood you're going to be a good head coach.
Ping, thank you for the $10 super chat there.
Thank you, Ping. Ping is a YouTube legend. She has helped me a lot behind the scenes here. Big part of our community here for the last few years. So appreciate Ping helping us out with all our YouTube questions.
Thank you for teaching the dinosaur and technology Kirby how to work some of these
No,
things.
I did not embarrass myself or
Then
embarrass.
again, I don't know who's worse, you or Nick. So,
I'm pretty bad.
We
But-
really appreciate it, guys. And chat, thank you again for coming on with us. And don't forget to hit the like button to help the algorithm out for us.
thank you once again, Pink. Really appreciate it. But with DeBoer, he just really lost me with the way he handled the goalie situation in Game 5. That was like I thought I would have fired him the minute he came out with DeSmith in the third. Like that's fine if you sit Andre for the period to get some energy going in your guys. But I cannot stand not dying with your best guys.
I agree.
And it really cost them because there's a chance Andre may stop that breakaway on McDavid in late in the second period that really pulled that ended up becoming the game-winning goal. It's just that is what it's, and that's what really infuriated me with DeBoer. This whole thing, because you could sit there and tell me, well, he lost like 5 straight versus Edmonton. Well, your team scored like 4 road goals in 6 games.
But if I'm Dallas and I'm in a win now window and I'm trying to get over the hump, I'm not just firing DeBoer just to hire the next available guy because I didn't like what he did.
Exactly.
Yeah, but DeBoer lost the locker room though. They were going to keep.
They had those meetings, yeah,
and they fired him after the players.
But you can take all that in from the players, Cody. If you don't got a guy that's going to be able to step up and be that gold standard, that standard of excellence, okay, thank you for the input, players. But I'm going to wait until there's an opening. Maybe it's in October, November. Maybe it turns into the Jim Montgomery situation where, okay, DeBoer, we had these interviews in the offseason. We'll bring you back for a month or 2, but then we're firing you. We're bringing this guy in. You can do that. That's a Vegas move there.
I want to interrupt here for a sec. Parker Kelly extended for 4 more years in Colorado. So
what's the AAV?
Not released just yet. So we'll see.
If it's below $2 million, that's a good deal for him.
I have to throw to Vince here soon. Is Colorado's still trying to cut bait on guys like what Edmonton's trying to do here? I don't know if we've got into the Victor Arvidsson situation.
Are you talking about light switch here? You're talking about light switch?
Oh, him or below that level. But I was thinking more below that level to cut salary, thinking to bring in.
I mean, they remember they cut a lot of salary with the Coyle and Wood deal to Columbus.
Yep.
So they already cut a lot.
Continue to do what I mean.
I don't think so. I think they're done with the cutting. I still think they may move Natchez.
Okay.
I can see that.
Wait. So how did I feel about Knight in Game 6 versus Edmonton 20? I was fine with that. What? That was a whole different deal. And at the time, with the way our goalies were playing, Knight was our best guy.
Yeah, he was.
Well, you can talk about how Bob's been handled back then, how he was handled in 2023, which, we needed Lyon to go on that, 7-2 run to get us.
But I don't blame Maurice for that because Lyon was the hot hand. You're not in – it's coaching malpractice to not go with the hot hand, but he went back to the horse at the right time.
I was one of 10 or 15% of the population of Panther fans that did want Bob to start.
Cody, the extension for Kelly, 4 years, $1.7 million.
Really good deal.
That's really good.
Really good
deal. That's a good deal.
So, yeah, but that's just the thing with DeBoer. It was because at the time, Knight was our best guy. Because really, I did not blame Q for that. Can I get a busy boy right here, Caesar?
Busy boy.
There it is. But no, it's just back then it's just like I remember because remember we started with Bob, he got lit up for 5. We went to Drieger, he got 2 going down but playing. But here's the thing, we really had no choice. Like Drieger was horrible. Bob was okay when he came in and then got lit up again.
Yes.
It was just that's just a whole different situation.
I wanted Q to go tonight like a game or 2 prior in that series. I was young. I know we didn't have our community then, but
the Andre thing, Andre's a certified horse, and he wasn't getting lit up like Bob and Drieger were. He was in there, and his team was not playing that well. Dallas on the road this postseason was putrid. I think they got shut out like 3 times on the road.
And that's the opposite situation where Ottinger is your horse and established goalie, where Knight was supposed to become that, and he's your next one. So you got to be careful on how you manage that guy as well. Like if you're putting him in the net, and if he can handle it, which he did a great job.
Yeah, but I understand the energy thing. It was just DeBoer. I just couldn't fathom why you don't go back to Andre like in the second and third here, because your season's on the line here. And that's just how I felt about it, because unlike the 2021 series, Florida's main problem was goaltending against Tampa.
It was.
It was goaltending and penalty kill. I mean, Nick remembers that penalty kill back where that.
Bring that up. Oh my gosh, it drove me nuts.
Crazy how far we've come, right? The penalty kill was atrocious back then.
Can we throw to Vince here quickly? I had a fan tweet me this morning here, Vince, on where are the qualifying offers when it comes to the Florida Panthers. We got an update there.
Yeah, so it was finally announced as to who got qualifying offers. It had already been announced via reporters in the media, not from the team directly, that Sam Miskevich and Michael Benning had received qualifying offers. They did receive their qualifying offers. The other players that did receive were Mackenzie Entwistle, Wilmer Skoog, Oliver Auclair, and Tobias Bjornfoot. So if there are any fans in chat of Zachary Ewens and Nathan Steos, I am sorry, but they did not receive qualifying offers, so they will not be staying with the Panthers organization.
I like Steos' potential at the beginning there, Vince. Thought he could maybe fit undersized guy on the back end there. You know, we need guys at that position, but it looks like he's not going to find an opportunity in Florida. Similar like a Riley Stillman there.
But Ewens and Steos, if I remember correctly, were both undersized D.
Steos was definitely undersized. Ewens, I think I want to say was 5'11".
I could have sworn he's like 5'10" or something, because that's when I actually cared about the draft. So I know those guys pretty well, and because I'm pretty sure
Ewens is listed at 6'1".
Okay, so he was just not good. Okay.
Yeah, he just never really established himself in Charlotte. Kind of became an ECHL defenseman. You only get 50 contracts. So, process of elimination.
And Steos was an undrafted guy. I'm 99.9% sure about that, because I don't think we drafted him.
His dad is Steve Steos, the GM of the Ottawa Senators. Little fun fact.
So go to Ottawa, Nathan. But
so real quick, I just want to share for those of you who are on live, my t-shirt sales are out now. You guys can go on at CesarLucero.com. I'll share the link below, guys. You guys can purchase your Busy Boy t-shirts, hoodies, and the famous shirt that was at the parade. One shift at a time, one period at a time, one game at a time. Really appreciate everybody for their love and support. So go out there, and if you want, they're on sale now.
I love that the white model shirt.
Can someone do something, please?
I love that one.
Thank you.
Someone do something.
I'll put the links below, guys.
Yes, put the link below. We can put it in our description as well.
LeBron, he re-signed 10 minutes ago. Freaking heck, man. Let's go.
What?
LeBron now wants to tweet the Parker Kelly thing. I hate when insiders do that. But
Nick.
Oh, no hat, Nick.
The flow.
Let it flow.
Can we announce the winner? I believe he or she may be in the chat right now.
Ooh.
On their lunch break.
All right.
Oh, somebody. Oh, you already leaked it out. Really?
Let me just get the puck here for a moment. Here we go. Slow moving day, everybody. My gosh. But no hat there. We're gonna put that there just in case. All right. Give me a moment here, Kirby. The winner of the Aaron Ekblad signed puck in partnership with Caneswear is, and it is JSA certified. Thank you for everybody who commented, liked, subscribed, for a chance to win this. However, the winner of this is Super Marlins 1. Congratulations.
Congratulations, It's Super Marlins one. Please reach out to me.
Awesome.
Please reach out to Kirby, and we will get this set up. So
Send us your
congratulations.
information so we can mail it off. More contests to come here, Nick. Autograph.
Yes, some other ones. So, congratulations. I thought it would have been former Panther Aaron Ekblad by this point, but it's not.
And I love that puck because
Breaking
it's
news.
first time Stanley Cup.
What's the breaking news?
Here, Rick Dollywall, if that's how
So
you pronounce it.
Vancouver.
Okay. Hearing Besser and Vancouver will get it done.
Wow. So he's staying?
So we're not going to get anything from Nikolai Ehlers, and Brock Besser has re-signed with Vancouver. So,
Wow.
I'm a huge Brock Besser guy. Like, I think he changes your, makeup of your team on the power play. When he gets hot, he's one of the hottest goal scorers in the NHL. And it's interesting that he's waited this long to go to market.
longer term.
He is
Verhaeghe.
He is Verhaeghe West. But
Real quick,
Chuck
we got a question from Chuck here.
Yeah,
Thank you, Chuck.
so basically, a qualifying offer is, I think, is what the minimum they should get paid, Vince, or
Okay, so qualifying offer is basically the minimum offer you have to submit to a player in order to retain their rights. So the difference between a restricted free agent and an unrestricted free agent is an unrestricted free agent can talk to any team they want when they hit the market. They can negotiate with whoever they want, and they can get paid by whoever they want. A restricted free agent means you're out of contract and you can talk to other teams, but if you were to sign with someone else, they then have to give your current team compensation. So the only thing the qualifying offer does is it means that you retain primary negotiating rights for that player. So you can you essentially have first dibs to sign that guy. If they were to sign an offer sheet somewhere else, depending on how much money it is, that team would have to give you compensation for signing your player away. So with the way,
years,
which comes with draft picks and all that.
yes,
7 years, 7.25 for Brock Besser.
okay, and I think that takes Vancouver over the cap. So
There we go. So we're not the only ones.
Yep. So now in the last 24 hours, Mitch Marner, Brad Marchand, Aaron Ekblad.
That's not a bad deal for Besser.
No, it's not.
That's actually a really good deal.
You know what it is a bad deal for, Caesar? Hours 2 and 3 of this live stream.
Well, we might be only going 2.5, 3 hours today. So
Look, I'm not gonna lie here.
And as I say that, the Sharks have signed William Eklund to a 3-year, $5.6 million.
Oh, good deal for San Jose.
yeah,
But
nice young player in Eklund. To answer Chris's question in chat, yes, you do have the right to match that offer and keep the player if they were to sign an offer sheet somewhere else. So
Hey, I just want to jump in there quick. Speaking of offer sheets, I wanted to say if Joe Hofer won't be subjected to an offer sheet because the Blues signed him. So maybe there was some worry there. They signed him to a $3.4 million.
Edmonton was right all over that.
Yeah, that would have been. Oh yeah, to get some revenge.
Yeah, revenge and a position of need. It's not like
and revenge. Both.
For those who don't remember or forgot, remember Montreal signed Sebastian Aho, the center Sebastian Aho, to an offer sheet a couple years ago, and this was back when offer sheets were very taboo amongst NHL GMs.
Yeah, because two GMs wanted to fight each other, and Kevin Lowe and Brian Burke years ago.
Yeah, because Brian Burke and Brian Burke, like he said, I think it was the Dustin Penner RFA.
it was Dustin Penner, yeah. They threatened to fight each other in a barn in Lake Placid.
Yep. For our trivia,
that's going to promoted that one.
And for our trivia contestants this summer, learn that quote. It may pop up soon. It's so it is actually kind of funny now that because here's the thing. I think starting next season, RFAs are going to become a lot more common because there are
Oh,
going to be
yeah.
some teams out there. I think Anaheim could get some of their guys off for sheeted due to the limited amount of cap number they have. So,
You think Anaheim's going to be in that crunch? With
you
their-
know, I can name you the guys they got to sign.
Yeah, but they've got a lot of cap space, and they didn't sign Mark.
They do, but I don't think signing all of these guys is going to help them because they have to sign.
So you're saying they're going to take the picks instead of signing these guys you're going to list?
I think one of them, yes,
Okay.
because they got to sign Gauthier, Carlson, Lacombe, Minchikov, Zellweger, and heck, they still got to sign Dostal.
So they'll let this guy Lacombe walk away if he gets a ridiculous offer of what, north of $5 million? 6?
Lacombe could get 8.
8?
Wow.
That,
Yeah.
they might walk at that point.
He had a hell of a year last year, Kirby.
Yeah, that's an easy walk for Anaheim. If someone's offering him 8, I'll take the picks. Well, you get a first and a second there, Vince? First, second, and third?
They may just trade for his rights.
So William Eklund, 3 years, 5.6.
Yeah. You had it right first time, Eklund. So
Kirby, to answer your question, it does depend on how much money the team gets. I think $8 million would be a first and a third.
First and a third.
yes, because
I would probably let him
because
walk.
Lacombe had 43 points last year in 75 games. So it was a pretty good year
That's
for him.
the realm. But if you're talking that number, Cody, that's an easy walk for me.
And-
I'm the biggest draft capital guy out there, but you're getting a first and a third for Lacombe.
His minutes were up with 22 minutes to ice time. We'll see. It could balance he could go right back down, or he could go right back
I'm bigger
up.
on Broberg. Broberg, what did he sign for? Is it 4.25?
Yeah, but Lacombe's going to be more proven when he signs this next deal than Broberg was. Because remember, Broberg was what?
Next summer when he's
Yeah. Because Broberg, remember, before he signed the deal, he was in and out of the NHL, AHL. He never really had consistent NHL time.
Broberg has way better pedigree than Lacombe coming into the league.
Yeah, but here's the thing. But Lacombe's been on the NHL more. So
True.
he's be more proven.
But I don't think his ceiling's as high as like a guy like Broberg.
I think it could be.
Well, if you're in on him, then yeah, you're the GM signing him to that, Cody. Then you are in on him. I'm not.
I like Lacombe. 6'2", 205, very physical, can move the puck. I mean, problem is he's a lefty. So if he was right,
could matter on the market too. Broberg, a lefty though, but played both. Or am I wrong on that?
I think he. Let me see. Broberg is
Capable of playing both.
lefty.
Lefty, yeah.
And guess what? He's up next year anyway, so he's going to get a pay raise there too.
Wow. So gets a
Somebody do something.
Oh,
How do you think I feel, Cody?
before I know we're all waiting patiently, but let's get a little quick word from our sponsors.
Panthers fever is here. Are you geared up? Caneswear in Davie is the place for all your Florida Panthers needs. They have the latest gear for our favorite NHL team. Jerseys, polos, t-shirts, hoodies, hats, and more. Caneswear has you covered. Stop by their store in Davie or at pantherswear.com. Again, that's pantherswear, WEAR.com for all your Panthers gear.
And another word from our other sponsor, Jeremy Beckham, with Next Home Treasure Coast. Hey, Panther fans in South Florida need real estate out? Check out Jeremy Beckham with Next Home Treasure Coast. It's a boutique service with a personal touch. Jeremy and his team put humans over houses, working hard for you, whether you're buying or selling. Ready to move? Hit up BexSellsFLA.com or call 772-475-5371 now. You'll be glad you did. And one quick thing. Okay, can it show? All right. Take it away.
Ad reads that finally, Corey Perry is finalizing a deal with the LA Kings, according to Bob McKenzie.
Wow.
LA Western Conference Champions 2026. Put the bet in now.
Wow. Okay. That's interesting.
So
They must be that desperate to beat the Oilers in the first round. They're once again signing a bottom six Oilers player.
So Warren Fogle last year, Corey Perry this year.
Yeah. And they also hired Edmonton's old GM and Ken Holland.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's true.
That's a
Yeah.
good point. That's a good point, Vince. So yeah, I mean, Perry didn't play that bad in the playoffs. Although he had a couple of penalties that did cost him a couple goals, but I like this signing for LA. I really do.
It's hard not to like the signing for LA. I mean, it's Corey Perry. I'm pretty sure it's to a bonus oriented contract, like what Taves got, what Kane got, what some of the older guys are going after now. These bonus heavy contracts. And
Yeah, just to jump in, Cody, 2 questions to you here. What does he have left in the gas tank, and what's his deployment going to be in LA from Edmonton, and how it will be different, if any?
I think his deployment will be similar in LA, because LA really their top 6 is real. I think their top 6 is set. So I doubt he's going to get any top 6 minutes, because remember they have, Kopitar, Byfield, Fiala, and then they have you have Deneau, you have Kuzmenko, Trevor Moore, Fogle was in the top 6 role for him. Maybe you get more of a step from Alex Turcotte. It's going to be interesting to see.
Are they keeping Turcotte?
Yeah.
Okay. There's always talk around that.
So I just wonder if he's probably going to end up being, if you want to use him correctly, I think he's bottom 6, and I think first power play net front presence.
I was just going to ask, where does he fit in the power play, and is he going to be net front?
That's the thing about Corey Perry. He could fit into any power play in the league, because if you're a net front presence guy, you could go to any system and you're going to do good. So it's really about like the end for Perry, because I think this is like his last contract, or last of 2 contracts here. It's just because I think the only thing keeping it going is the pain of losing 5 cup finals. He's like, once he wins 1, he's done, probably.
I don't know if that trend continues with LA.
It could. It somehow continued with Montreal, so.
And
The way
Dallas.
All in, and where Edmonton is right now.
And Dallas, they were not that good that year.
Okay.
Yeah, but the bubble really helped them. Actually, no, they were good. They were in the round robin, so they were ahead to be somewhat good.
LA has the same goaltending they did this year, and they're able to replicate it.
Perry is not cupless. He is currently he is a Stanley Cup champion.
Yeah.
2007 the Anaheim Ducks.
I'm reminded about that all the time.
It's
Yep.
just just like you got to get that last one. And quick question, Vince, what's Edmonton's cap space looking like right now? Just so we have an idea. I'll give him a second to pull it up.
Sorry, just 1 second. So Edmonton, at least going into today, I believe this is before the Arvidsson trade.
Yes.
No, actually, this wasn't. So they had $4.5 million to work with. They don't have that much space. Obviously, we all know about their problems. We saw them firsthand with our own eyes in the finals. They have to improve in net, and they have to improve their defense. So
All right.
the problem is they don't have a lot of money to go out and.
Can't believe we're doing it for this player, but Nick, take it away.
Listen,
Stop the commentary. You let Nick control it.
thank you, Kirby.
Sorry.
According to Frank Saravelli, the LA Kings will also be signing Yoel Armia. So Corey Perry, Yoel Armia, a couple of former Montreal Canadiens. Both were on that 4th line for that Stanley Cup run. And seems like they're reuniting here in LA. So I know it's a small deal, but it's more than what the hell we've got so far. So
Cody, turn your notifications off. We want organic thoughts and takes from you without knowing who the guy
and I
is.
will say this.
I'm watching Sportsnet in the background.
And I will say this.
Listen to hell.
Twitter is glitching in and out of breaking. So we'll try my best, but
Issues going on Twitter again on July 1st.
At least it's not as bad as the rate limit exceeded thing, because that was even
Right.
worse.
The only reason we got some of those signings that day is because I had notifications on.
we have another signing.
Oh,
Dan Vladar
Oh,
2 years, 3.35. Going to Philadelphia, gentlemen.
that deserved a little breaking news there, but
Philadelphia, one of the top goalies, if not the top goalie on the open market.
They've
Is,
been having goaltending issues for a while now, so that's
So I think that
fine.
Caesar, could you name 2 of their 3 goalies that played last year?
No.
moving on.
Can you get one? Let's get one.
one's a Swede that played at Four Nations, right, Cody?
He might have been on the team. I don't think he played.
I think he
Yeah,
played.
so Twitter's starting to break here, gents. So I'll do my absolute best. But
If
Appreciate it.
I can hop on if need be.
On the Armia thing, they also have Philip Deneau. They signed Corey Perry. Is Ken Holland trying to build the 2021 Montreal Canadiens here? Let's get a discussion started.
I don't
Gotta get
probably.
Gallagher next.
No, they got to get Carey Price out of retirement next.
Oh my God, that would break the internet.
I'm not gonna lie.
I like that. A Price and bring back Quick. Price and Quick combo.
we have we have the NHL free agency going, and one of my best friends group chat. They're all basketball fans, so they're going off about NBA free agency. And a guy just got traded to Charlotte, and they just all I read is, "Oh my goodness, like send him to hell." And it's just like,
So there's a lot more action in the NBA right now than there is.
oh, way more. It's a lot more shocking. It's a lot funnier, actually.
That's crazy. But yeah, we want to thank everybody in the chat for joining us today. And special thanks to you guys for coming on yesterday for those 3 hours. It's crazy. We didn't think we were going to be on that long, but, you know, like Nick said, let's stay on here. We got some breaking news that might come up. And, you know, just for us to cover the Marchand breaking deal and coming on to break down the Ekblad deal. Thank you, Vince, and thank you, Nick,
Thank you, guys.
and Cody, and
Thank you guys for
Kirby
holding it
coming on
down.
later on. No, we've just got so many positive messages on my Instagram and on X. So keep doing the great job that we keep doing, and we couldn't have done it without you guys.
Tons of views there. Do you guys have anything? Because I can throw you something here to kill some time.
no,
It's
Yeah, Cody.
no, it's just right now. I'm just trying to figure out something right here.
I got something. Most money spent on UFAs last July 1st. The chat, you guys can contribute here. I got 6 teams on the screen.
Okay.
Nashville.
Okay.
Number
All
1.
Wait. Okay. Before we continue, we have a former Panther signing.
Oh,
Nico
Nate Schmidt?
Sturm is going to Minnesota.
Going back to Minnesota.
Going back to Minnesota
Ah,
for the 2-time Cup champ.
Well, Ryan's going to be watching that a lot more. He doesn't
For
like
the
wild hockey.
the
'cause
fifth best face-off guy in the NHL last season. Sure as hell not for us, but
and oh, and
Vito's
I
one
kind of
L
seen that
last year.
coming, especially with Nosek signing that extent
Dude,
that year
the minute
deal.
he got benched in the playoffs, I knew he was coming back.
At least
yeah,
he got a cup with us, so you know.
Hey, 2-time
he had
Cup
one with
champ.
Colorado too.
Yeah, 2-time Cup champ. So Nico Sturm going back to Minnesota. Okay, and I think Vladar should project as the Philadelphia starter.
Okay, hold on. We'll go back to that trivia question here in a second. Vince, you want to talk on the goaltending front?
Yeah, this to me is an interesting pickup for Philadelphia because they do already have 2 goalies under contract in Ivan Fedotov, who has really kind of struggled in North America since coming over from Russia. He's the really tall guy. He's 6'8". At least I think he's listed at 6'8". So yeah, just because the goalie's tall doesn't make him good. And then Samuel Ersson, who I believe was on the Sweden team for the Four Nations. Both of them are under contract for the 25-26 season. And both of them, I think, have salaries that would make it difficult to bury them because you wouldn't get the full relief for burying them in the minors. So I'd have to think that there's a possibility Philly moves out a goaltender in a possible trade, hopefully today, so we can get some content. But if not today, then hopefully soon. I wouldn't be surprised if Philly moves out one of Fedotov or Ersson to make space for Vladar, because I think it would be a little bit silly to carry 3 goaltenders on your roster.
Ugh.
What's the career high starts for Vladar, and can we see him approach, around that 45 number?
I think they're if Philly wants to be serious about making a playoff spot, they're going to have to. Give me a second here. I'll pull it up for you.
So Nick had that right. Nashville spent the most money last July 1st. Anyone guess with any other teams, and I'll just rattle them out here.
What the next, every year?
No, July
I was gonna
1st.
say,
Seattle.
Seattle number 2, Nick.
Seattle.
So spent 122 million. Seattle spent 94.5.
Yeah.
Guesses.
So how far back is this question going?
July 1st, last year, most money.
Oh,
spent.
last year.
I think just on that.
Toronto?
Toronto, not on the list. We got a couple original 6 teams. Canada.
Boston. Boston has
Oh,
to.
Boston. Yep.
Boston was 3rd.
Yep.
last year.
who
And
was
then we
number
have-
one?
Troy?
Not Detroit.
I'm
Rangers.
trying to think.
Rangers?
No.
New York Rangers? No.
Another original
Vegas?
6. No.
No, was it Chicago?
Oh, wait a
Chicago
minute.
at 4.
Original
Oh,
6?
yeah.
Because
Yeah.
Tara Vinen and Martinez.
We got one team in
And
the
then Brody and Bertuzzi.
We got one team in the Metro at 5, and then
New Jersey.
New Jersey, and then the Canadian team is Cody.
Wait, in the East?
In the
Canadian team.
Metro?
No, there's no Canadian team in the Metro.
Edmonton?
No, not Edmonton.
Winnipeg?
No, I said Cody.
Oh, Vancouver.
Yes,
I think so.
wasn't getting my hint.
Uh,
I don't get.
But back on Vladar, the career high games he has started 29.
In this past
Wow.
season, I just checked those numbers as well.
Yeah, so it's going to be interesting. Last year he had a lot of.
See what he can do.
He had a
So
career
it
high.
looks like
game-
hearing per Elliot Friedman, I don't know if you guys brought this up.
Yeah.
Hearing that New Jersey is making a strong pitch for Connor Brown.
Wait,
Thank you. You
hold up. We got to do.
And we have more. So Twitter's back up for me, and Vladislav Gavrikov is officially a New York Ranger, according to Pierre LeBrun.
Ooh, that's a good
The worst kept secret in the NHL.
Stole my words from my mouth.
So yeah, I mean,
What is it? I think it's a 7-year, $7 million deal.
well, we're gonna find out. Nothing.
Yeah, I have it here
right
from
yet.
Elliot
Yeah,
Friedman.
7x7.
Yep,
Cody,
so
get the
this
trash
one-
can.
Oh no, that one isn't trash can esque yet. That's a fair deal for Gavrikov, in my opinion. Top pair defensive shutdown defenseman. I think that's fine for him. If you want to say it's overpaid, it's probably what, 500,000.
You can thank
Maybe $1 million.
you can thank Aaron Ekblad and others for being the highlights.
I don't
Oh.
think it's $1 million.
Although, granted, I did say it. This is going to be a kind of a summer of sticker shock because the cap's going up. People are going to get more money. So
Even
So-
in a flat cap year, I could see him getting that.
Now the deals are starting to roll in a bit. I guess 45 minutes was the line for tampering suspicion. Yeah, if you don't mind, because the news is slow, I would like to give my thoughts on Dan Vladar to Philadelphia. If that's good, Kirby.
Yeah.
I
And then
think
we can answer Frank's question after. But yeah, go ahead.
Dvorak? No.
no,
no, I don't. I think that Philadelphia couldn't buy a save. You know, you take a look 2 years ago, they almost made the playoffs. I think with the like below 895 save percentage, right? So I think Vladar provides some stability in net. I do think Rick Tocchet and some of the moves that Philadelphia has made. You know, I like what they did with Trevor Zegras. I think that's a guy they needed to bring in because they needed some talent, young talent. And I think that combined with Rick Tocchet, I think Vladar could give them some stability. Now, in a much improved Eastern Conference, I don't know if it's playoff worthy, but this is definitely a Philadelphia team, Danny Briere, that expects to be competing and to make the playoffs next year. And I think with the move of Trevor Zegras, they just signed Christian Dvorak, Rick Tocchet coming in, and now Dan Vladar. I do think these are solid pieces that you don't necessarily commit too much long-term money to. And they already have some talent there, which Meach Cobb and Gauthier and not Gauthier, Drysdale. Gauthier got moved. And Konechny. I like what they're doing there this offseason.
Just to jump in there before we get to any Rangers questions, I want to give a shout out to everyone in the chat. Thank you for the super chats. We now have our super chat enabled, so appreciate shout out to Ping and shout out to our moderator Ryan. I want to get into the Rangers a little bit here before we do get to those questions and comments there, Caesar, and maybe Vince wants to pull up the Rangers cap situation. I heard earlier today via TSN Sportsnet, Cody will jump in on this, K'Andre Miller is a big trade piece right now, and they're, I think, looking to shop him here. And then Gavrikov has just, signed on here with the Rangers. So I think that just amplifies that.
There's a team I think is going to go after him. And it's the place where defensemen go to die, it seems like. And it's the Detroit Red Wings.
Yes. Musical chairs.
That's the most obvious fit.
Mm-hmm.
And when you really take a look, I
a
always
lot of pressure on him going there, I think.
I think Yzerman, again, I don't know if he's quite on the hot seat yet. Again, Detroit team that needs to make the playoffs. I mean, at this point, you have to make it, right? Some of the moves with John Gibson, and I'm not really 100% sure what other move. Vince, did they make another move?
Detroit you're talking about?
Mm-hmm.
Or the Rangers?
Yeah, Detroit. But before I do, we have a deal on Connor Brown in New Jersey. Per Gene Principe through Elliot Friedman. 4 years, $3 million AAV.
Yep.
He got the E-Rod.
Yeah, so
there you go.
4 years for Connor.
A little bit less than E-Rod, yeah.
Then your Miles Wood gets, Nick, where he's
that's
age.
fair.
I think, I don't know.
Yeah.
Vince, go over a little bit the New York Rangers situation here.
Yeah, so New York's in a very interesting situation. Obviously, a very disappointing season for them. They wanted to try and make another run towards the Eastern Conference Finals. They didn't even make the playoffs, so they came up well short of their goal. In terms of forwards, most of their forward core is locked in. Will Cooley is a restricted.
We have a trade.
K'Andre Miller.
There you go.
Carolina. We were just talking about K'Andre Miller. He is headed to the Carolina Hurricanes.
Yeah. I mean, it was kind of a poorly kept secret that the Rangers were trying to run K'Andre Miller out of town. So, obviously pending RFA with arbitration rights, they wanted to get something for him. They're getting something for him. In terms of their defense, which was very fluid last year, Fox and Gavrikov are kind of obviously your top pair. After that, though, doesn't look like there's obvious, top four guys here. Borgen and Soucy, Schneider, Vakanainen, Matt Robertson, who's kind of a rookie. You're in a situation with the New York Rangers where there's not that much outside of the top pair of Fox and Gavrikov on the back end. And then obviously they're paying Shesterkin all that money. The forward core wildly underperformed last year. Panarin's a UFA in 2026. This year does kind of feel like a make or break year for that organization, because if they don't if they don't get back to the playoffs, I have to think Chris Drury would be fired and Panarin walks, and then the whole rebuild project that they started, a good 7 years ago, dead in the water, and they have to start all over.
It's going to be a critical year for the Rangers here.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think it's more critical for Detroit. I think Detroit is probably the team with the most pressure going into this year.
Really?
I think Detroit's up there, but I think it's actually Anaheim.
It could.
Ownership in Anaheim publicly came out and
I
said,
hope they missed the
we're
playoffs
done
when they
with
fired
not making
Verbeek.
the playoffs.
But
they basically issued a directive to Pat Verbeek: if you don't get back to the playoffs, we're firing you.
I think that's good for them, though.
I think they needed that, but that you want to talk about pressure. It's kind of hard to not say it's them when, it's obvious that they're putting pressure on. They're not even working behind the scenes to put pressure on Verbeek. They're coming out and saying to the rest of the world, we will take you out if you don't do your job well.
But here's why I think it's more Rangers than Anaheim, because Anaheim could at least say they are younger. Like, because you have guys like there's like you can still get there with Leo Carlson in a couple of years. You're not gonna have to trade on big pieces if you miss this run. Detroit, if they miss again, they could actually start looking to move Dylan Larkin.
Especially, could this
I-
be
that for a while.
Yzerman, or could it be like him on the high seat or the hot seat?
He should have been in the hot seat 2 years ago. But
Also, a little unrelated.
Did you say the high seat? That's Mitch Marner's spot, Caesar.
The Tampa Bay Lightning, cross-state rivals. They've re-signed Gage Gonzalez, 2-year, 1.2 AAV.
That's
Also,
that's a team we haven't really talked about this year.
they don't have
and
any
we'll get to them
cap
in a minute, but also
Right.
Pierre LeBrun says it's a 2-year deal for Yoel Armia.
Yeah, like
Nick,
Tampa
you're
has no
big
cap
on-
space.
What?
You're a big
Yeah, I
fan.
think he's a good player. He's a pretty good player. I mean, stepped into a middle six role for Tampa this year, and I thought he did a pretty nice job. Especially in the playoffs, at 5 points in 5 playoff games against us, was a nice energy forward for them. Like, definitely they have something there with that third line next year. With Gonçalves, with Geeky, and now I don't like him, Nick Paul, but they do have something there. So Tampa's a team to watch out for sure. And it's Caesar again. Sorry, I'm just checking this, so just take over for a sec, guys.
Yep. So kind of go back, guys. Going against Tampa in the first round, keeping our core guys, and what does Tampa have to do here to improve on getting over the first round? Obviously
back
we saw
end.
them.
And so I could say it. Michael Pezzetta, formerly of Montreal, according to Bob McKenzie, is heading to Toronto.
Oh, that's another good deal for them.
His stats last year: 0 goals, 0 assists in 26 games.
Gritty
Vince,
fighter.
that's a Vince type of player. A lot of veteranosity and grit.
A lot of grit.
He was kind of a guy like Gadjevich that finds his way in the lineup for a couple games and would find his way out. That was a guy last year that I noticed there. If you probably look at his game log, probably a couple games here, and then would find his way out of the lineup for a while.
But it's okay. Like it's never mind. I hate when they just retweet the other person's tweet, and it's like,
Carolina and the New York Rangers, as they finalize that extension. The Hurricanes are working, obviously, on an extension. So we'll see what that comes in at. I'll keep you guys updated.
Pezzetta 2-year deal, $775 year 1, $800K year 2.
Wow.
So
It's like a cap hit of like 787.
So no word on Ehlers.
Steelers, we're not getting any word on today more than likely.
nothing on
Most
Ehlers
likely.
as of
It
yet.
could be a couple of days.
He
So,
could go anywhere, to be honest. He could take a tour. He could go look at houses at that city. He could go to the restaurants. He could.
Oh boy!
Let me guess. Now that you were talking about it, he just signed.
Tanner Jeannot has signed with the Boston Bruins.
Wow.
5 years, $3.4 million AAV. Tanner Jeannot is a Boston Bruin. What in the freaking world? I mean,
Okay.
You guys thought Dvorak was bad, but as I said, at least
Pasta Party. That guy Pasta Party.
only 1 year.
That guy
5 years of Tanner Jeannot for over $3 million per.
That might be the worst. That's like what that? That's the one. That's like a deal you see. I don't get that.
Nick, I think that might be the worst transaction involving Tanner Jeannot, and I'm including the time Tampa traded away an entire draft class for the guy.
Cody in shambles right now.
And Nick, what did you think on contract numbers there for Jeannot?
Well, I thought he could get like something in the 1.5 to 2.25 range. I mean, from a good team if he wanted
on a 2-year deal, 3-year deal.
But we said it earlier today, right? with the cap going up, there's going to be
He's-
deals like this, right?
He's not
And
good though.
He scored
know.
20 goals 4 years ago, and he's still getting paid for that. How? Like,
Cody, you're forgetting. He's tall. He's gritty. He's blue collar. He's hard working, and I'm out of adjectives.
he's not even that tall. He's what, 6'2"?
I think he's taller than that.
hey, if I raise my chair up, I'm 5'8".
Make the leap
Your
there.
right hand.
He's 6'2".
My strong
right?
hand.
Like, no,
Are you a right shot?
Don't get into that. We went down.
Excuse me, sir. You're too
Is it-
small to
is
rock.
this left? No, this is right.
Janelle isn't even right shot. He's left.
Tell us
He's a
what-
left
I'm
wing.
left shot. I'm a left shotter.
Just go on the back end. You'll get
Am
five.
Am I the only one? I think me and Nick are the only right shots here.
A lot of lefties. That's up here.
Gosh, I hate it when they freaking just-
Like, I'm not.
That's
gonna
why
lie.
we have so many lefties on the Panthers.
Let's just say that guy Pasta Party that always shit in our comments.
Yeah. What do you
Yeah.
He's not a fan of this deal. So
say? Shout out to our boys at Bruins
That's my
Benders,
message.
Maddie.
to him.
this is what happens when
we
you.
have 3 righties that are Canadians. I
What
know.
happens when you screw around with us? Screw out the
Mhm.
Florida Panthers. You get you get shitty deals, buddy.
Nick, get
we don't
the
know
holy
the term
water.
yet for Perry. Did we know
Shout
the
out
term,
to
guys,
the
for
holy
Perry?
water, everybody.
What happened?
That's what you're messing with.
All we have
that's
for
what you're messing
Perry
with.
right now, it's a bonus heavy contract. Like I said, it was going to be earlier.
Around 3.5.
We don't know the actual numbers quite yet, but we'll see here.
Okay, I got a question on Perry. Do you think it's laden with how many games he plays?
Yes,
Because of his
I think it's a playoff game bonus, to be honest with you.
and playoff bonuses. Okay.
Yeah, I cannot believe that Tanner Jeannot. Yeah, I mean, what is Boston doing?
They don't even know.
And I mean, I think we should can we take a look at Boston's cap situation here now? They're kind of in a bit of a weird spot.
Let's look at the bodies that they have, how many guys they have
Yeah.
locked in with what they have right now. That's something I'd want to know, especially up front with the forwards. Because they added, did they add Arvidsson?
Yeah, they added Arvidsson. Boston heading into today after the Arvidsson move had 8,700,000, so about 8.7 million, a little more than that. They signed Tanner Jeannot for 3.4, so that would leave them. I'm doing some mental math here. About $5.3 million. Most of their forward core is locked in beyond 26-27. Pasternak obviously is up in 2031. Lindholm they have locked in at 7.75 until 2031. They signed Morgan Geekie to, I think, a 6-year deal at $5.5 million per. They still have Middlestat and Zaka locked in. On the back end, obviously, they're just loaded with bodies. McAvoy, Lindholm, and Zadorov locked in until 2030. They extended Henry Jokiharju. And in net, they seem to be sticking with Swayman and Korpisalo. So Boston probably looking to improve the forward depth. And they really have so much money and roster spots locked in with what they have that I'm not really sure more they can do.
Yeah, and
Another former Panther signing, by the way. This was announced yesterday, but David Pagnotta confirmed Nick Cousins is re-signing with the Ottawa Senators. 1-year deal worth $825. And Pierre LeBrun reporting the deal for Armia is 2 years at $2.5 million AAV. Actually, not a bad deal.
I don't think we said this deal earlier as well. Martin Ferravari re-signing in Washington,
Yes.
7 years, $6 million per year.
Also, one of the things we're thinking about now is a lot of defensemen still have not gone off the market. I mean, you take a look at, I'm thinking Brent Burns, John Klingberg, a couple of other ones that are still on the open market that have not signed. Some veterans, Mikhail Granlund, still also out there on the open market. Pew Suter, a center. Those are centers. So none of the really big names that are still out there have made a decision quite yet. But that's something to keep an eye out for. And Nikolai Ehlers was already reported that we probably won't hear anything on him today. Brock Besser going to Vancouver. Now you shift to centers. I don't want to report this fully. MD Netters podcast says Roddick Foxa could be headed back to Dallas. I don't know if that's going to happen, but that's what they said. So that's something also to keep an eye out for in a weak center market already. Roddick Foxa had an excellent year. St. Louis, excellent playoff, could be headed back to Dallas. Was shipped off as a cap dump last year. So, yeah, that's all I have for right now, but I'll keep looking.
Chat's loaded with questions. If I can answer Gabriel's just on Boston, since we were just talking about him, how do they not try and improve the blue line depth? Because they already have 6 defensemen making over $2 million per year each. They're really their best bet is bank on Mason Lowry continuing to develop, and that Henry Jokiharju has a decent year after getting some time in their system already. That's really the only thing they can do on the back end because they can't move Zadorov, Lindholm, or McAvoy. All those guys have trade protections. So if you're going to see moves for Boston, it would be to improve the forward depth. And their big move to improve the forward depth in terms of a free agent signing is Tanner Jeannot. I don't like that. I don't mind the Arvidsson pickup for a late round pick. It's worth a shot. Jeannot,
Chrissy Arvidsson's a one-year deal. Arvidsson's a one-year deal. He has talent. I mean, he's a good player. I mean, you could fit him in. Like, you've seen guys take on bad contracts for a year, and they end up playing pretty well. They're able to ship them off for something valuable at the deadline, especially if Boston's not going to be competing, which I don't know if they are. I don't think they are. I don't think they think they are.
I think they're trying to be.
Yeah,
but
I don't think
it's going to
come to fruition. You can move Arvidsson half retained at the deadline if he pans out.
Look, it's for Boston. I don't know what direction they're trying to go in here. Are they trying to go back to competing now? Are they trying
I think they're trying to ride the fence of win now and build for the future, which rarely, if ever, works.
It never works.
Yeah, you have to be a genius general manager for that to work. And I'm not here to try and dump on Don Sweeney because he knows more than I do.
It's not a full rebuild with McAvoy there, with Pasternak there. You could say Swayman would be part of the rebuild, but you can't have McAvoy and Pasternak there.
Yeah, you can say they need to do a full rebuild, but I wouldn't be surprised if Neely doesn't think like that. Cam Neely, the team president, doesn't think like that. Or that Jeremy Jacobs and his sons, the ownership group in Boston, says, no, I'm not letting you do a full rebuild. Because sometimes if ownership says, I don't want you to do a full rebuild because I don't want ticket sales to go down, well, the only option is do what the owner says or get fired.
And doesn't the Jacobs family know that from the early 2000s when they moved Joe Thornton to San Jose? They've been through that.
I believe they have, yeah.
They're not going that route, I wouldn't think.
No, I wouldn't think so. And yeah, with the right side on Boston, I wouldn't be surprised if they just kind of play Zadorov or Lowry on their offside on the second pair, especially after they moved out Brandon Carlo.
Because as it stands right now, the Bruins do have my trade deadline target for the Panthers and Andrew Peeke.
Parkland native, I think.
Yeah, I think he is from down here, but right shot, bottom pair guy, that's what I'm looking at. This is to me when Boston rebuilds, it's gonna be when Pasternak gets traded or McAvoy gets traded or Swayman gets traded. I got a DM and I thought it was a freaking signing. That's how boring this day is.
Jimmy Murphy posed a pretty interesting question, actually.
Did you guys get that Washington trade or the Washington signing?
Yeah.
Faribault, yeah. He says Tanner Jeannot at 3.4 for 5 years, or Trent Frederick at 3.8 for 8 years. He says Freddie times 2 every day for me. I think that's what he said.
That's a great question. I think I go Frederick too.
I would too. I think he has more upside than Jeannot. I think Frederick has some legit talent. I think Edmonton will hit that deal's getting crapped on a lot.
It says
from the
something that
Edmonton
you
part.
guys very quickly chose the Frederick deal over the Jeannot deal when given the
Yeah.
choice between the
Can
two.
I
think it.
Can I pick neither?
Well, I would. It's not a bad option either.
Kirby, you're what, option C?
Yep. Give me whatever option.
I also
Option,
don't-
option C.
Even if it's
Brent-
Miles Wood. Even if
option C. Brendan Gallagher. Here you go.
Yeah, that's what I guess we're rolling with them.
Welcome to the squad, Brendan.
Gonna have option D at that point.
Option D, get fired. You got to pick one of the three.
Die. What was the old Oregon Trail?
Which door are you opening, Mr. Loophole?
Kirby referencing the old Oregon Trail game. That's how far we've gotten already.
It's like, it's like option A, Jeannot, option B, Frederick, option C, Gallagher, option D, a shotgun.
Got a broken
Option D, dysentery.
Terry. There it is. I don't know. I wasn't round in those days, Vince.
What did I roll myself into?
Nick might have been.
Option AL, afterlife. Like just like.
Oh, I know what the afterlife is.
Well,
Hey.
I'll go down that.
I'm more of a fan of the after party, to be honest, than the
I
afterlife.
mean, hey, Caesar knows both of those pretty well.
I was
So,
gonna
both-
say.
my man,
We have
my man-
Oregon Trail comments now in
my
chat.
man nearly saw the afterlife because of an after party. Like
Literally.
my man was drowning.
Would have been a great way to do that.
Everyone, Canada Day, Independence Day, get out there. Your niece, nephews, young children, learn to swim. Very important.
And
Swim in those
our
PC waters.
Independence Day is coming up here on Friday for America. So hope everybody stays safe and don't do
Yeah,
anything.
none of those fireworks like Jimmy or whatever did on that video. Jimmy, back away. Remember that the wheelchair there once, Caesar? That's
I've done that a few times, and
oh, come on, Caesar. Reverse.
what the worst part is when you're trying to light it, you turn your chair off, and then you try to turn it on, and it's not turning on, and you're literally just like.
I'd be panicky for
It's
you.
like the old video, like this old.
Yeah, Terry. Sorry, it's not Jimmy.
His old grandfather, whatever, was like in the chair, and he lights the fireworks. He goes, "Put it in reverse, Terry. Put it in reverse, Terry."
That's like the best.
This is how bored we are right now. There's literally absolutely nothing happening.
No, after today, I'm straight football after this. Like,
No, we're doing ranking shows.
okay, we can do ranking shows.
I do want to say this does feel like it happens almost every year,
more
where
excited
nothing happens on July 1st, and on Sportsnet and TSN and all the media shows, they're like, yeah, well, nothing's happening except some, fourth line grinders signing. But man, if you look at next year's class, it's going to be great. Look at all these names. And then half of them get signed by Christmas.
Next year's what? McDavid?
Yeah, no,
I don't think he's
Cody,
hitting the market.
Hold on. Cody gets excited for this every year on Spaces in the summer when we do these shows over on the X platform. He's like, look at these free agents next year. I'm like, Cody, half of these guys are going to be gone in 4 months, and then the other guys are going to be gone like a month before.
I mean, let's do it. McDavid, Panarin, Bobrovsky, Eichel, Ovechkin, Kaprizov, Makar, Laine, Trouba, Carlson, Weber, Connor, Weber's retired. Kevin Hayes, Anders Lee, Ante Kopitar, Ryan McDonough, Cam Fowler, Matthias Ekholm, Evgeny Malkin, Jacob Markstrom. No, it's not Markstrom. No way. Nick Schmaltz, Jaden Schwartz, Adrian Kempe, Bjorkstrand, Coyle, Evander Kane, Alex Wedberg, JG
all this
Pageau.
for the top free agents to be Jaden Schwartz and Evander Kane.
Yeah, no.
And Alex Wenberg.
Oh, wait, and Michael
He
Backlund.
gets his hopes up.
Oh, Kirby, Michael Backlund.
Backlund.
Could that be an
It's
option?
a shame we don't need any centers for the next 6 years.
Hey,
I was
Nick,
going to say we're
look.
good at the center for
Hey,
this
look,
for a
Nick's
while.
favorite guy, Carson Soucy.
Oh, jeez.
I would like a guy like Carson Soucy there on the back end.
I wanted size on the back end a couple years ago when we lost to Vegas, and we got it.
We got Nico Mikkola. He's size on the back
Well,
end.
let's kind of talk about Nico Mikkola. I know his contract ends after next year.
You're so
Um,
bad.
How do you guys see that playing out here in the near future? I know he's got 1 year left, Mikkola. You guys think we're going to be able to sign him?
We
I have
better.
no idea.
I want the signing to happen on opening night.
Like,
I want the signing to
think
happen
that
right
could
now.
that could be really difficult. I think
Yeah.
that might be really difficult.
like freaking for Mikkola at least. Like Mikkola's at least getting like 5.5 right now.
What do you mean, Vince? Very difficult. Elaborate.
Well, I mean, if you look at what Nick Hague got from Nashville, and Nick Hague's a career bottom pairing defenseman. If I'm Nico Mikkola and or his agent, I see that and I'm probably thinking like, okay, I have 2 Stanley Cup rings. I play more minutes. I'm better defensively. I'm the same height and I'm physical and all that sort of stuff. You know, he's all the stuff GMs salivate over for defensemen. You know, why wouldn't you hit the market and potentially get a huge contract? So I think, you know,
But we-
it'll be I think it'll be difficult just because I think Mikolaj's the kind of player who, you know, we'll see what the market can do for him this year and then say, oh, what can it well, how's next year really going to look? Because the cap's going to go up again by a huge number next year as well.
But could you say that? I mean, for several years he wasn't the player that he is now under Paul Maurice's system. He's kind of blossomed to being a pretty damn good defenseman under Paul Maurice. So don't you think that has a little bit of water in where, you know, let me stay in Florida. I do like the way we play here. I love being on that second pairing and, you know, just end my career here in Florida.
You could absolutely say that. The only thing is, I don't think Nico Mikkola has ever really had an opportunity to go out and make that kind of big money before. So for a guy like him, I think probably
It's not the situation or even
no, it's a very different situation to a Brad Marchand or an Aaron Ekblad where it's okay, you've already made a significant chunk of money. I think Mikkola's contract with us, I think, has been the richest contract he's ever gotten in his career. That 3 years at what, 2.67 number or whatever it is. That I think that's the richest he's ever gotten. So I couldn't blame him if he decided why not go to market and see how much of that big money I can get, especially if you've never had a chance to go out and make that kind of money. It's like why wouldn't you take that chance?
The part
and Dylan with Kulikov, he's signed for another few years.
The part I worry about as well, just hold on, guys. The part that I worry about as well is the Kevin Ball deal. Flames fans think he's a top 4 guy. I think he's a number 5/6. Nico Mikkola is actually a top 4 guy.
Yes.
And they're in the same build and style and play. And I worry about that. And
I remember Ranger fans going at it saying, you know, we're so glad he's gone. He didn't really do much for us. So kind of going to that where the system is actually working out for him here in Florida. You know, if he wants to go get his bag, then by all means he deserves to. But I think he's also got to think about where the best opportunity for him to play well as well.
But but for Kulikov, he has another 3 years after this one. So,
and I think that was your favorite contract, right, Cody?
I didn't think it wasn't my favorite, but I was just like, when people were like, "Oh, 4 years," and I just saw the number, I go, "Okay," because his number is 1.15, which is the maximum amount of we could put in the minors without it hitting our cap. So if he's like absolutely unplayable in like 2 years, which I don't see happening given what we've seen so far, then you could just put him in the minors.
Yep.
So that's why I've never had a problem with that deal, especially when it's like 4 years. I'm just like, okay. And like Kirby didn't like the 4 years, but when I explained like that part to him, he was like, he was okay with it then as well, I think.
Yeah, because I think you think I'm always trying to age him out, but he has a lot of tread on.
I mean, you are
long-time NHL player, and he's played heavy minutes here in the latter part of his career too. When the wheels fall off, they're just going to be off.
Yeah, but sometimes I feel like you're pushing him to be like AARP card levels, like get a discounted Denny's and Outback.
Well, he hasn't had it easy back in the Florida Panthers 1.0 era. Some of the teams he went to, Minnesota, time. He hasn't had an easy run, man. This dude has had to work for everything he's had to do at the NHL level as a top, lottery pick player, I believe, Vince, where he was drafted out of the queue. It hasn't been easy going for him, and he's had to battle for everything he's had to earn. And I that's a surreal thing to think Dmitry Kulov is a 2-time Stanley Cup champion now.
With the team that drafted him also.
Mhm.
And yeah, 14th overall, like tail end of the lottery in 2009. I think he's played over 1,000 games. He'll probably get to 1,100 by the time it's all said and done. Obviously not a Hall of Fame or anything like that, but there's something to be said for a guy with staying power who was competent enough defensively for a lot of teams to say he can do a job for us. Here's a contract. There's no shame in being a Dmitry Kulikov, and at the end of the day, he has 2 cup rings. You gonna argue with that?
We have another former Panther.
Kaapo Kakkonen to Montreal.
That's awful. How tragic.
In net.
What?
What are they thinking in net? They got a lot of.
Well, they got rid of Primo.
Remember,
They
traded
traded
yesterday.
Caden Primo late last night.
Again, I'm adding Fowler into the mix and the 2 guys they have.
But Fowler's still 2-3 years away.
Well, here's the thing. Why is Primo
And they
going
still have to pay Jakob Dobesh. They still have to pay
Ryan
Jakob Dobesh.
Lindgren, Seattle.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that sounds like a
4 by
Seattle pickup.
4.5.
How long?
Interesting.
4 years.
4 years. Yeah, 4.5.
That's a Seattle pickup right there.
Does
Let's
Brandon
throw
Montour
money at
have a
Ryan
new partner?
Lindgren,
I
yeah.
think so.
That's a good move by Seattle.
I don't think so.
Where's Alexiak at?
Still at Seattle, 4.6. 1 year left.
Okay.
Dennis Gilbert signs with Flyers. 1 year.
Isn't he a big-
Dennis Gilbert, one of the few guys that beat the piss out of Ryan Lundberg.
About to say, isn't he a big guy?
He's huge.
Like I remember Kirby's like watching that fight, and he was like, Lomberg got the piss beat out of him.
Lundberg, oh my God.
Well, you know what that means, that signing? We have to wait another 20 minutes for a new
Yeah,
one.
we had too many signings too quickly. We're going to have to go back to talking about like
Let's talk about Darren Waller. I mean, hey, Caesar, let's put up the film. We're gonna see how Waller fits into the Dolphins scheme.
Oh boy.
With
God.
Isn't Gilbert a former football player? I think he was.
I don't think so.
Speaking of former football players, one got taken in the first round of the
Mason
25
West.
NHL draft.
But they
6'6"
said-
out of Medina to Chicago, Mason West.
But he's
Played
locked into
quarterback.
hockey, right, Vince? Like 100%.
I
what he
believe
said.
I believe he's going hockey full time. Yeah, but it's funny how the Blackhawks drafted a quarterback around the same time the Bears, only about a year or two after the Bears drafted theirs. So
Derek, I appreciate it so much. And Derek has this on the screen now, so he knows where it is. We can go back, and he'll be like, I'm the first one to call it, guys. Because Derek always calls in on our post-game X show. Appreciate
Appreciate it, Derek.
Derek.
Appreciate
Appreciate it,
it,
Derek.
I love Derek's fire and passion. Like, he's like, sometimes, Curry, you and I don't agree, but, like, yeah, it's entertaining when Derek comes on there. I love going at it. Derek's, like, part analytics, but then, like, his favorite guy is Bennett. Look at what he's doing out there on the ice, like the eye test. So I love having those different conversations for sure.
No, we definitely love Derek, and especially in spaces, we love it for sure.
But one thing on Mason West is I do think I think he's only I think he's 17, I think.
he's very, very young.
So
for
he's
this draft
he's still playing high school football for one more year,
Okay.
and he's going after another state title, and then for
What position is he?
quarterback.
He's a quarterback at Edina High School, Edina, Minnesota.
6'5", 200-pound quarterback.
Wow.
So
Is that
Okay.
same school that Suggs went to and played QB?
no, Suggs went to I think Bishop Gorman.
I thought he was in Minnesota with Chet.
I'm not sure. Give me a sec. Jalen Suggs. I'm
They're
assuming
from
you mean.
Yeah, Suggs and Holmgren. And then he was quarterback there when he got drafted. Well, before he got drafted, he just played in Gonzaga.
Oh no, yeah. Suggs went to Minnehaha Academy.
Yes, that was the school.
Can somebody please do something? I mean, holy shit.
stuff here.
Come,
Hey,
like,
the
let's extend Mackey, please.
I don't
Something.
anything.
goalie union. Let's talk. What guys are still available here? Goalie union. Shout out.
Alex Lyon.
Alex Lyon. Elliot Friedman said he thinks he goes to Buffalo.
Oh, I thought that was official last night.
Ooh, okay.
So we'll see if that happens or not.
Oh, you want to know who came from Adina High School? There were two guys. Kirby was correct. One of them. Let's see if you guys can guess it. He's also a former football player and hockey player. All you guys know this guy.
Did Bukestad play football?
Not Bukestad.
I don't think so.
You're on the track. You're on the right track. Once I say this name, you guys are going to be like, oh, I forgot about that.
All I got is Tom Glavine in my head right now. For
No,
base.
he's in the NHL.
Okay, currently.
If I give this hint, it's going to give it away.
Trying to think of Minnesota-born guys.
Besser? Oh, no. No, apparently not. Okay.
Next hint, he's a captain in the NHL. Vince, it's gonna hate Vince when he doesn't get this.
The New York Islanders are signing David Riddick.
Oh, big save, Dave.
Goalie union.
Okay. And
All I
there's
was thinking of is Larkin as an American captain.
your correct answer is Anders Lee.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, he is a good multi-sport athlete. That's right. We were going to do a podcast.
Anders Lee.
So top
Was a
guys
quarterback.
left on the market here. You got Cody Ceci, Mikael Granlund, Brent Burns, Jack
Where do
Russell.
you guys see Brett Burns?
Nate
going?
Schmidt hasn't signed yet.
Hopefully to us, but
Nate Schmidt, Andrew Mangiapane,
we
Pew
got to at least make
Suter,
one signing, no?
Evgeny Dodonov,
No,
Taylor
Dude,
Radish is out there.
How much would you guys pay Nate Schmidt to come back? Obviously, we don't have that much money.
Under
left.
$1 million?
He'd have to take what he did last year.
Yeah, but no, he's getting a 3x3.
Ooh, we might have something here.
or 1.75.
Joe
Oh,
Dokes, shout out to
thanks,
Joe
man.
Dokes, another super chat.
Oh,
Hoping
thanks.
we reach 1,000 subs. We're on our way, guys. So we really appreciate
We are
it.
on the way.
Have
And
we
don't
talked
forget-
about the terms on the Connor Brown deal in New Jersey
Yeah.
yet? Or
Yeah, we did. Yeah, 4
Okay.
years, $3 million. Yeah, remember I
Yeah.
said he got the E-Rod.
yeah, not the worst.
But
honestly.
another person from this high school graduated class of 1973. Prominent
Kirby?
NHL figure. Prominent NHL figurehead here. That also went to Adina High School in Minnesota.
No, Kirby's never been to Minnesota, so that scratches that off.
I haven't been to the mall there. I've been to West Edmonton.
My best friend
For some reason, you said figurehead, and my first thought was Ron Hainsey.
Cameron went to Minnesota. He was rocking.
My answer's Cameron.
He was rocking what, Caesar?
He was rocking the Panther jersey, and he had a Minnesota shirt.
He's a GM, though. Most known as a GM.
Bill Guerin?
You think Bill Guerin's more known as a GM?
Oh, more known as a GM. I thought you said currently a GM.
No, he's known as a GM.
Oh,
So
Bill
the only
Chris
signing.
Patrick?
He's not a GM currently.
Oh,
I think
Not-
he's
not
in a
yet.
role somewhere right
we
now.
have a signing.
Dean Lombardi.
Nick Bukestad
Nope.
on a 2-year, $1.75
Wow.
million deal is going to the St. Louis Blues.
So we talk about goalies. A goalie signs. We're talking about the state of Minnesota. One of Minnesota's own, Nick Bukestad signs. What do we?
All right, let's talk
He went
about
to
the
high
Florida
school in
Panthers.
Minnesota.
Let's
We
talk
drafted
about
him
the
right out of
Florida
high
Panthers.
school.
Hey, but
What high school?
correct answer, Brian Burko. Vince.
Oh, it's Berkey. Oh, I should have gotten that. Should have gotten that.
Let's so like what about the let's see. Man, remember that Philip Kuba signing, man? That was such a great deal.
Oh, stop it.
Well, if I start mentioning those days, Cody, but I wasn't watching that.
I was watching Philip Kuba.
You were? Okay.
You remember the Brett Connolly signing?
He was good.
Yeah,
Wow.
that first year he was good.
I don't know what happened there. I truly do not know what happened. You want to talk about a guy the wheels fell off? The wheels fell off and the engine blew up. Like, it was just...
The guy was always like 27 going on 40.
Yeah, and he was...
Another signing, the Islanders have signed goaltender David Rick.
Yep.
Yeah. Dude, we should play a game and let Caesar pronounce some of these names.
It's like that. It's Charles Barkley.
It's like the Don Cherry thing where he couldn't pronounce any guy's name who wasn't Canadian. Well,
I still
Anglophone Canadian.
I still think my favorite thing in the world was when he called Ekman Larsson, all of our Lawsome Tossum. Just like
that was the one.
Didn't he also call Roberto Luongo?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cody, we're doing a show with Caesar. I think we're doing a new segment, a show with him. Name this guy, pronounce this guy's name. We'll put that on the screen and the name.
Oh, dude. Everybody would love that.
You know what's funny? Awesome. We can start that segment now because this is how boring this stream is.
No, we're
just do the thing they did on Bar down.
Why
NHL
did I think that said Ivan
Provorov
for a second? It's Provetstov. Oh man.
But
Flames are signing goaltender Ivan Provetstov, who had a great year in Russia, 24 games NHL experience, I think, with Colorado.
Okay.
So,
especially after losing Black or
Parker Wotherspoon to Pittsburgh on a 2-by-1.
Talk about a guy that's always been a 6'7".
Like, just think, Wotherspoon, most known as the guy who just stood there when Gustav Forsling scored the series-winning goal in Game 6 versus Boston. He was the one standing there.
There we go. Oh, here, I want to talk about this trade. Zachary Bolduc for Logan Mailloux. I talked about Montreal moving one of their young defensemen. Mailloux, former first-round pick. Right?
Yes.
Okay. What were both teams thinking in this deal? Bolduc, I thought, was a key secondary piece, depth guy for St. Louis. I'm not understanding this move out there. Montreal maybe getting a little moving guy out because bringing in Dobson on the back end. You can't fit guys on the blue.
I think
Montreal wanted an extra young forward to help out. Bolduc gives them that. And with the Dobson pickup, they didn't need Mailloux.
But why did St. Louis want to move him? They believe in Mailloux.
They could use some young defensemen. Most of their defensemen under contract are old.
Yeah. And remember, Torrey Krug's not playing again, so that opens up for them. And I think they're going to try and want to do a youth movement back there because, remember, they have a lot of old guys on that back end. Nick Leddy, they have Justin Falk back there. Parayko's not getting any younger. Like, I like the move for St. Louis, and, like, Fowler had, I think, one of the most underrated playoffs. He had 10 points in that 7-game series there for St. Louis.
I really like the move for Montreal. I've been a Bolduc guy all year long. If you guys remember the games against Florida, he was dominant. I just started watching him throughout the season. If you want to talk about Montreal building a statue for a guy, I'm pretty sure Quebec native. It's going to be crazy, the Bolduc love and exposure he's going to get now playing.
But the only thing about Bolduc is I don't know how much it tips the scales for Montreal.
I think he's top 9 guy.
So, but top 9 may not tip the scale for Montreal this year. They probably need more of like a higher name guy to me.
Cody, I think he can get. How much goals did he have this year?
Like 19.
I think he's a 20-25 goal guy this year.
But what's his shooting percentage? Like, let me just check that. Now we're showing the dev camp. That's how bored we are in this stream.
So yeah, let's take for those of you that don't. Go ahead.
Caesar, I was doing this. This is where the little things drop and you got to catch it. I was doing
I was going to ask, who do you think in our group would win this? I know I'd be dead last.
I'm pretty darn good.
Oh, okay.
I'm finishing first or second in the group of us.
I don't know. I feel confident about me in this one.
Okay. Cody. Yeah, who's the goalie?
That would be me.
Okay. And you can drop it off if you want.
Nice.
Look how low his hands are, too.
But why is... Dude, his hat looks like he has gray hair.
These guys are legit here. They're really...
Nice.
Should have a higher, but...
What the hell is this?
That was good. Bad reaction.
Oh, you gotta look
Oh,
at front seats.
fuck. That's our 3 seed in like 3 years.
He wasn't trying on that one. He
He's
wasn't
not
even
There
trying.
things are percolating around Sabres defenseman Owen Byram. Trade conversations are happening with Calgary, Vegas, LA, and St. Louis among those interested. Also hearing an offer sheet on Byram is being contemplated by somebody. This is all according to Darren Drager. So
Calgary.
Okay.
So
But
what are we thinking on Anderson right now? If Calgary's in on Byram, there's something there going on with Anderson?
potentially.
Is he,
I mean,
is he
Vegas-
actually going to be traded?
Yes. I think he's 100% gone.
Who are you saying, Cody? Byram or Anderson?
Byram. Rasmus Anderson, I still think there's a chance that he may stay in Calgary.
And play through the season? Yeah.
Even sign an extension with them, I think.
Oh, that far.
I'm not ruling that out.
I don't know on that, but okay.
Remember when Bennett couldn't do a pull-up? Hey, apparently he was projected to go first overall.
What is the Florida Panther admin going to get Bennett in the room with the players and see them do a pull-up challenge or something? I could see them doing something.
I think he could do a pull-up
that
now.
first. Right, Nick? He's got to come back on that 8x8. He's got to.
Yeah, you're damn right he does.
He needs to do some content here. Can't just be playing hockey on that deal.
The Isles have signed Ethan Bear.
Everyone had Cody's discount.
And the Utah Mammoth have signed Peronovich.
Scott Peronovich?
I got to get used to saying the Mammoth. Utah Mammoth.
I'm just going to say Utah. It's more easier to say than Mammoth. No, Matthew. We're not talking about our skills coach getting extended. It's not that slow. I'm not
Slow
talking
news day.
about that.
Unless he's partnership with Cats and Rats here.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Hold on a minute.
We'll show us video.
Emily Kaplan says this free agency carries on all eyes on Nikolai Ehlers. Believe the Canes, Capitals, and the Lightning are among the teams
the
in on him.
Lightning.
He's doing his due
Say Lightning
diligence
again?
today.
Lightning.
I think
Lightning goal.
you know what's funny?
What?
Like
Give us some.
you know what's-
Lightning goal
what's
scored by number 93, Gage Gonzalez.
you know what's the one thing about the Lightning?
Holy fuck! You
Like
gotta
this
have
is
fun,
very
right?
minute, but I think they have like the worst goal horn in the league.
Oh my gosh!
I hate that goal horn.
It's so
Damn it.
bad.
First in Rexall place. Are you kidding me?
No, here's why. Like that was just high pitch. Their goal horn never goes off at the right time. It's always late. It's just like score, and then it's just like.
Okay, that's different.
Right.
That's placement of the goal horn.
And
What
no, but
game
it's
was
not-
it that in the playoffs this year where our horn didn't go off or it was
Game
broken?
3 Cup final.
Game 3, right? It reminded me of Tampa so much. I was like, "Are we in Tampa here? What's going on?"
I'm like,
So,
why is their goal horn not working?
If Vegas gets Byram, that take them out of the running. Essentially, NHL Rumor Report said this is an idea. If Vegas gets Byram, who they've been in on, that would take him out of the running for Rasmus Anderson. Calgary would be screwed because he only wants to sign an extension in Vegas, and Calgary's held on too long. So, I'm not really sure what.
It's hey, look, if we'll see here because why like now it's just like, man, can we sign anyone like a minor league guy?
We said it this morning. I don't think we're gonna do anything. I think we're done.
I don't know. Not doing anything's not like we got to sign some minor league guys.
Oh, especially
Like-
after sending off Sertoff, right? And
Well, they just tendered the contracts, right?
They did just tender those contracts. I didn't miss anything important, did I?
Yeah, everybody said this is nothing's happening. We're all going home. So.
Yeah.
Okay,
Uh,
cool.
Matthew wants us to talk about the Max Ionov extension. Like,
Yeah, our skills coach.
man,
yeah,
like that's
good guy.
we extended our skills coach. I go,
Yeah, he's a good dude. I have a testimony from multiple people. I know that he's a nice guy. So, yeah.
I love that Sportsnet is showing the Florida Panthers back-to-back Stanley Cup commercial as they're coming back into life.
Probably while all the anchors in the back are like curling up into a ball and crying.
like at this point, I just want to play NHL Slapshot.
Eric Chernak or Nick Paul could be on the move if that happens.
I take a Nick Paul, but we don't have cap space for Nick Paul.
We don't have a need anymore.
And we don't need a center.
Was Scott Oak and Ryan Brent getting the Order of Canada today? Okay.
Oh, man.
What's the matter, Cody?
Hey, we were. This is us during the.
We're
trade deadline.
live.
Okay,
This is
we were-
literally trade deadline. So
This
I'm
is
just
trade
waiting
deadline.
for David
Okay, but
Pastrnak to become a Panther at this point, right?
Like Pastrnak to Florida, and all of us are just like, and it's for Hagee.
It's always a quiet before the storm. What did Bill Zito do?
It's like Pastrnak for Verhaeghe and Erod.
Probably not the best news that Zito spoke this morning because he usually speaks after.
Mhm.
So then there was
Another good
nothing's
one.
probably happening for us today.
Maybe pull
Yeah.
Yari.
Gotta get one guy, no?
Maybe we'll get some breaking news.
Where
that Bill Zito
is
has
Brent Burns going?
We get news. Bill Zito has acquired a Dairy Queen Blizzard for $5 of cap space, and he's given it a no movement clause.
He's putting it in front of Brad Marchand's apartment.
Always
I don't think he needs
To
an
be
apartment
fair,
anymore.
I
He
could
needs a
go for a
house.
Blizzard
Oh,
right
yeah,
about now.
Yeah. Maybe Germany can help Brad Marchand with that house.
Yeah. Oh yeah, could Jeremy hit
Keep
up
an eye on the Penguins and free agent Anthony Mantha. Sounds like they're working on a deal, according to David Pagnotta.
Didn't Mantha get hurt?
Yep.
So he was out most of the year. He got
He
hurt
tore
by-
his ACL, I think.
He
They
tore
got
his
up- it was
ACL,
up to-
yeah.
Really
Was
good
the-
start in
Yeah.
Calgary.
I want to say.
But
Where's Nate Schmidt? Brent Burns? Like, why are we just waiting to go?
Yeah.
No tampering,
I mean,
guys.
If you want, like, there is a kind of a funny thing with Anthony Mantha where everywhere he's been miscast as a power forward because he's a big guy. And it's like he doesn't play particularly big and he doesn't really leverage his frame or his
You know what's funny?
strength particularly
I just think
well.
it's
But
funny.
like he's not a bad hockey player. It's just he gets miscast as a
another
power forward.
another overpaid player for the hashtag NHL Bruins. How do they give him a pay raise here? Because he's a Bruin player. That's
Yeah, he
why.
fits their style, you know?
It's crazy.
Like-
Still find it mind-boggling.
Speaking of the Bruins, I thought it was hilarious. There was one person, I don't even remember who it was, who had like a podcast, who said that the Bruins should stop drafting local guys like James Higgins. James Higgins is from Hopage, New York, which is on Long Island. And he's like, oh, they should stop drafting local players.
Did someone mention the Joel Hanley signing?
No, I forgot about Joel Hanley.
A lot of money to middle to bottom pairing defensemen right now.
Because they look at like the Panthers and they're like, oh, that's how they won a cup.
Yeah, they just like, oh, tall defenseman. And it's like, Forsling is average height, and so is Dmitry Kulikov.
But Ekblad
So-
and Jones are like,
Ekblad, Jones, and Mikkel are tall. That's what it is. And Nate Schmidt's not even that tall either. OEL is like 6'2".
Let's go over this list quickly here, gentlemen. Top restricted free agent.
let me
Luke
guess them.
Velarde, Rossi, Byram,
They got to re-sign Velarde. Oh,
Tabish, Lafreniere, Voronkov, Keandre Miller, Morgan Frost, and Connor Zeri. So Flames have a couple.
Wait, Kirby, Alexi Lafreniere is already under contract. I think you mean Alex Laferriere. I
Alex
think.
Laferriere.
yeah, I'm about to say Lafreniere re-signed, and on the Byram front, Chris Johnson now report Jordan Harris to Boston. But Chris Johnson says if there was an offer sheet for Bowen Byram, it may fall at the 7.02 salary cap mark.
We have some news.
Okay.
And then the offer sheet would be a first and a third.
Morning, Elliot Friedman hearing Jordan Harris, who was not qualified in Columbus, is heading to Boston. He played his college hockey at Northwestern.
Northeastern.
Northeastern, you're right.
By the way, Capo Kakinen is getting paid more than Daniil Tarasov.
What?
He's getting 1.15.
More than
Oh my god, this is too funny.
So Kakinen gets 1.15.
Kakinen.
And Jordan Harris, right shot defenseman. There you go. That solves your right side problem, Boston. Yeah.
So this is Nick, third team for Harris already.
Montreal,
Columbus, and Boston. Yeah.
I was talking about him when we started doing content here 3-4 years ago. He's moving around team per year here.
Oh, so is Emil Heineman. He
Yeah.
had a decent year last year.
But Heineman was for those who don't know, Heineman was the prospect we gave up for Sam Bennett. So, I mean, can we just get one person so we could talk about it? I don't even give a damn. Entwistle, something.
We've had names.
Brent Burns.
The only person that Panthers signed today was a Nosek or Eric here.
Yeah. Technically, they actually didn't give Daniil Tarasov a qualifying offer. They just signed him before free agency started. So,
Give me a moment here.
All right. Gosh, this is a much slower news day than we needed here.
yesterday was a lot more fun.
Yeah, it was. Maybe we
Kirby,
should
get on the road to Medicine Hat. Things happen when you're on the road to Medicine Hat.
Hey guys, when we start July 1st, we don't got to start early. I know Cody's saying start.
Yeah, I don't get it.
Deadline where it comes in right when that window opens.
It's only when the trade deadline. The trade deadline's the biggest crazy man.
Yeah, because there it's like it has to be in by this time instead of it starts at this time.
It's only when it's free agency and things like that. But I don't want to answer questions with the community and everything that happened yesterday when people are coming in from.
Yeah.
I think we can go for another hour or so.
Yeah, another hour here, and then we can kind of because this could go throughout the night with the signing. If anything, again, we'll come
any
live.
major thing. Just stay tuned and
smaller stuff. We might go live over on Spaces on the Twitter X platform, so make sure you're following us there on our handles below where our names are there. But yeah, whatever you guys got on social media, share it here. What's trending?
What's trending?
Nothing.
I don't think you want to know what's
Scott
trending.
Perunovich to the Mammoth, like that.
Yeah, we knew that one already.
Yeah, like that. Other than that, I'm not seeing anything that looks notable.
The
only reason Perunovich to the Mammoth is notable is because he does not fit the mold of defenseman that they like. The Mammoth like big defensemen. I don't think Perunovich is that.
I think Perunovich was with the Islanders, got traded to St. Louis.
No, he was. No, you haven't reversed.
Or is it the other way
with
around?
St. Louis, traded to the Islanders.
Yeah, so I just remember he was a Blue, and then a Blue and an Islander. And
then he got injured. He kept getting injured. That's why the Blues got rid of him.
Ripskis.
Jamie, I have a question. Is every single guy that we like as a potential replacement option currently on Charlotte?
What is the question?
If every replacement option is on
Charlotte. If you ask JV, every guy on Charlotte's ready to go to the NHL.
No, Parrish, we did not lose Jonah Gadjevich.
No.
Yeah, Jonah's under contract still for another year. Yes, David, we did lose Capo Kakinen to Montreal.
Yeah. So
right now,
this was an NBA free agency shrink. We'd have plenty to talk about.
Yeah, well, we're not as fortunate.
Well, if this was a South Florida NBA stuff, then we would just be talking about how they wouldn't trade Jaime Jaquez for Kevin Durant.
Dumbest stuff in the world. You guys,
and now they're talking about getting
back-to-back championships. That's
now,
for sure.
Now they're talking about signing Lillard.
Problem is he ain't playing for a year.
Yeah. So
after
But they're talking.
Because we didn't want to give up. I don't know. Haywood Highsmith is part of the deal for Lillard. Or
why do you
whatever.
guys overvalue your like 6th, 7th, and 8th like role playing guys? And
because the culture.
What culture you? No, never mind.
don't even go there, Cody. Right now, we're hockey right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, one team wants to win, the other one doesn't. One team has a culture, one team acts like it has a culture. Yeah, that's the difference.
I feel like it's like we're just kind of like sitting in an ocean right now. We're just kind of waiting.
NHL deal or AHL deal?
I don't know. I'm trying.
Who in Montreal, Nick?
Sammy Blais.
Blais.
Calder Cup winner, Sammy Blais.
Yeah. Gritty fourth line guy if he plays in the NHL.
You know, I
think he's also
you know what my
cloth,
favorite part of this day is when I see like a report from notification from Chris Johnson, Elliot Friedman, one of those guys, and then
just a
repost. I'm like, I'm done.
Like, I don't know. It's just, I wonder what all the other like free agency streams are doing. Like, must be sitting here like us, just like, man, nice weather out today. Nice, yes.
Actually, the weather's garbage out there today. I hear it thundering and raining outside my window, so it's not nice weather where
What
I
about
am.
you, Steve? Is it raining by you?
Yeah, it's pretty bad down here. It's supposed to rain the whole week, I think, down here in South Florida.
I would say it's been raining like every day over in Tallahassee.
Kirby, are the flowers blooming in Calgary this time of year?
Full bloom. June, beautiful weather up here in West Canada. It's going to be a hot week here.
Hot by your standards or hot by like
Sammy
real
Blais,
standards?
1 year, 775.
In the 90s.
Okay, so
Close
hot
to
by
that.
real.
Well, I mean, I am so glad I'm here with you guys, but I just have to say this is the most uninspiring.
No one has signed. Like none of the big ones have
Nobody.
signed. Except Gavrikov, who went to the place where we've known for a month that's where he's going.
And like the funny thing is, it's just like we can't even talk about like, oh man, how could the Panthers improve? Like,
yeah, we just won 2 straight cups and we're over the salary cap.
Yeah.
I don't know. We had a lively discussion last night, Nick, on our Twitter X hangout. Fans coming from around the league.
You guys want to talk about Edmonton?
They do something?
No, just talk about somebody.
I brought up here the potential lines here for Florida.
So the same as the Cup. Brandon Tanev 3x2.5 to Utah.
There we go. We got some news now.
There we go. Something. There's a sign of life.
So Brandon Tanev adding some grit to the Mammoth lineup.
Some grit and veteran leadership and also some decent defensive ability. So
and some speed. A lot of speed.
Yeah, 3x2.5. That's a pretty good deal.
I like that deal.
Now we have a blizzard. Now we have a blizzard question in the chat. What's everyone's favorite blizzard?
No, we've been there before. Caesar gave me like 3 different answers.
Is this a weird time to admit I've never actually had one?
No.
I've never actually had a blizzard.
What are you waiting for?
Yeah.
I don't know. I just never got around to it.
I eat them so often.
I'm trying. Where even is the nearest Dairy Queen to me? It might be in like it. No,
like so
it's
many
not a
in
Dairy
South
Queen
Florida.
anymore. There used to be one in the Coral Square Mall, but I have no idea where there's one near me anymore.
I think it's an Orange Julius
What are the
now.
weird?
No, it's a Haagen-Dazs now.
Oh, or
Is
that's
it?
even worse.
Orange Julius was like connected to Dairy Queen. I remember it was like a Dairy Queen and an Orange Julius.
All right, that's another question. Best food court spot in the mall. What are we thinking?
Not Subway.
Yeah.
I don't consider Subway.
I used to love going to Miami Subs in the mall. Their chicken.
And now they're
were the
expensive
best.
as hell.
Yes.
Their
Man, that's a good
DoorDash
question.
orders usually pay well.
When I
though.
was a kid, mine would have been Charlie cheesesteaks easily.
I still like that place.
But
Me
now
too.
they got standalone stores.
That's
Like there's
true.
one, they put one in Tallahassee on Pensacola Street.
Jersey
And-
Mike's, and I know it's not in the mall, but if you want a really good Philly cheesesteak, Jersey Mike's is really good.
It's expensive, but it is good.
It's worth it. It's so
If-
worth it, though.
But if you're in Broward, there's this place called Spanky's Cheesesteaks.
I'm sorry.
It is
It's the
so
one on
gas.
441, right? I think.
Yes, right in Margate.
Yes, I've been.
Well,
It's
lost in
awesome.
all
I love
this,
it.
I forgot to wish everybody a happy Bobby Bonilla Day. Whatever the
Yes,
fuck you
happy
pronounce it.
Bobby
Yeah.
Bonilla Day. Flyers, Lane Peterson.
Miami Grill. I've never been to Miami Grill. David.
Yeah,
Miami
they
Grill-
rebranded and Pitbull
yeah,
owns them now.
Miami Subs is now Miami Grill.
Yeah.
Is it?
Yes.
If you, like the one on 441, with like right near me, which is like north of 441 in Atlantic, you walk in, there's like a big thing of Pitbull and like a quote he said about like buying into the
Yeah.
franchise
You
or whatever.
know what's funny? They're selling alcohol now.
Oh my goodness.
So, but I think mall food always for me is going to be probably either Annie
What?
Ann's probably.
What the fuck are we talking about right now?
Dude,
We're talking about food.
Hey,
I'm multitasking right now. Hold up. Bye. Yes, sir. But
I keep thinking, like, who the hell are the Tusk Ups? And I'm like, it's
Tusk
Utah.
Up is the mammoth hashtag now.
I just call him Utah. I think
There's
I'm just
one
going
on
to keep
Wiles
calling
and
him
Coral
Utah.
Springs Drive. Okay, Adam, I'll probably force Nick to go there with me at one point.
I haven't had a blizzard ever either.
But
get
no,
the
but
heck out. No
but-
way. Really?
Yeah, no.
But
never-
the thing
I'm
is-
thinking I should just get the chocolate chip cookie dough one or whichever one Marchand likes, and like just start with that.
oh, Kirby's like gone. So let's see where he.
I think he's
David,
trying to. I think
he
he's.
went to
Said,
go
I'm
get some
out of
mall-
here. Nothing
I
happened.
think he's
I'm out.
trying to get us a guess so we can stop talking about food courts at the mall.
But hey, Annie Ann's elite.
Yeah.
Yeah, fair. You know who would actually be a great addition to this conversation? Ryan, because he used to work at the West Edmonton Mall, and I'm sure they have a lot of food options at
he?
the West Edmonton Mall.
So
He
Brandon
told me he
Tannen-
did.
Yeah, Brandon 10 up to Utah 3 by 2.5.
Okay.
Yeah.
Somebody says to
Good
also-
deal for Utah and a good deal for
Somebody
Tannen.
said also keep an eye out on the Anaheim Ducks when it comes to Nikolai Ehlers.
They're in on
Well,
any-
yeah,
every-
because they have all that money to spend.
they are in on
Especially
They're in on
Especially-
everyone because they have money. Oh, should we talk about Anaheim's cap situation now? Let's pretend like we're
and they
doing
got
something important.
Quinville, right? So
Yeah.
Yeah, they got Quenville. Ownership told Verbeek, like,
Man,
you
hockey
need
Twitter's
to
gonna love that
spend
one.
money. We'll sign the checks to bring in Joel Quenville, and we'll sell our reputation for that too. And so they're gonna be going hard after every free agent they can try and get their hands on. They got $36 million to work with, and they're $11 million below the cap floor.
So
So-
do you see a sign a trade and sign here for them?
That's
with-
an E-Rod possibility now.
That could be an Erod possibility. In terms of a sign and trade, I'm not particularly sure. Maybe for like the likes of Bowen Byram, if
Okay.
they needed someone on the back end, though. They don't really need anyone on the back end, though. Maybe
Do
like
they, though?
Marco Rossi, but I don't think Marco Rossi's a Pat Verbeek kind of player. Like they could explore that route. I think it's just a matter of who could they get where it fits. Because in terms of the guys they have, the only restricted free agents they probably have to give big money to are Dostal and McTavish. Like Hellison isn't really going to get that much money.
And then the year after is Gauthier and Carlson.
And Gauthier, Carlson, Lacombe, Mintyukov, Zellweger, that group. So Anaheim built their team to have a lot of money this offseason. And now they have no one to spend it on. So
Okay.
yeah. $36 million, and they still have to get to the cap floor. And they have no one to spend it on. No one.
And Carolina still has to spend money, right?
Yeah, but I think but with the Miller thing, they're not at the cap floor like Anaheim are.
Okay.
Yeah, Carolina's just under the cap floor by about $2 million, but here's the thing: when they get Keandre Miller and that locked in, they'll be
All-
over the cap
Ollie-
floor.
It's nothing, Cody. I saw the way you sat up.
Ole like sell to Ottawa.
Cody got so excited he saw Drager's like not
And it's like Ollie Lysell to Ottawa. Yeah,
gosh, this is
yeah. But yeah,
Yeah.
Carolina went in with a
Appreciate the
war
38
chest.
people.
yes, we do appreciate it.
Yeah.
'Cause,
Carolina went in with a war chest. They have about $27 million. They were going to be hard after Mitch Marner. Obviously, he did not even hit the free agent market.
here comes
They were, I would assume, have
retweet.
been hard after Ekblad or Bennett. Neither of them hit the market.
Nope.
So their big name is Nick Ehlers. They've been pretty publicly linked to Nikolai Ehlers for a while now.
Everyone is apparently. Ehlers has like what?
Everyone
20
with
teams to
money,
choose
but
from?
Carolina's probably the best team that has the ability to go and get Nikolai Ehlers. So I think a lot of people have kind of penciled him in there as their big get of the offseason.
Like, come on. Can we please someone anything? Oh no, fucking hell. Kirby is back.
Joining us live now from Calgary.
Kirby, what's your favorite food mall food court
No,
restaurant?
you guys are not
Oh,
talking.
God. This again.
We didn't get Kirby's answer.
Probably not the answer you guys would. Thai Express is good. You know, any Chinese food.
Oh yeah, mall Chinese food is elite.
Yeah, mall Chinese food's pretty good. I thought you would have said like A&W or something.
Okay, yeah.
I thought he was gonna
actually, I
say
did
Wendy's.
this week A&W.
I thought he was gonna say Wendy's.
We've got to this point.
I'm not that much of a Wendy's fan.
we
Well,
got
I'm a
into
big
this.
fan. We've got to this point here. We got some Panther relics here. So
Oh,
Is that
there-
you would still get?
Is that the Huberto draft?
That's the 2011 draft.
from your local minor Canadian hockey rink. And then
So is that what Yakupov?
shout
and
out
what,
to
Ryan-
No,
Huberto.
Nuge, Landeskog, and
Oh.
then Huberto.
and then I
Shout
got
out
this
to
one.
shout out to Huberto's having his wife having
right.
a baby. Congratulations to them.
Congrats, Hubie.
Just so you know, now that means Calgary's gonna all of a sudden turn around and start winning the trade.
For the goalie unit.
That's a joke. By the way.
Goalie special here. No.
Mhm.
That's Lou 1.0 era there.
You know, you kind of figured with all the news and craziness that happened yesterday, that you could be in for a day like this.
And
Yeah.
we said it this morning.
Yeah.
And
Well,
I'm-
when it comes to the Panthers, you guys shouldn't
Oh,
be.
the
no,
King-
not on the pan, but in the league. I mean, like, I guess it
League.
changed.
Everyone's just bored. Everyone's
I
just
am
like,
a little bit surprised that some of these defensemen have not gone off the market.
Yeah, especially like Nate Schmidt.
Like Nate Schmidt, CC, Brent
They
Burton.
probably have like 15 offers.
And
Should we have
it's
a
still
good-
not out of the question that Nate Schmidt returns, right?
No, it's I think
no,
I
it's
think
not
it
out of the
no.
question.
uh,
It's not out
no,
of the question until he signs somewhere else.
Yeah, but highly unlikely. I think. I mean,
I mean, if he takes the minimum,
well,
I mean,
then-
he is getting. I mean, he does have his own business, and the endorsements that he's getting outside of the league. So
Yeah, but how much endorsements is Nate Schmidt getting in Florida?
Yeah.
Depends
you'd be
what-
surprised. You'd be
place-
surprised
You're probably right.
because
What?
he's got his own tape company.
So what endorsement would Nate Schmidt get? Like aloe vera?
What did
Maybe
you say? What-
Hims hair loss treatment.
Caesar, what did
Bosley?
you say? Tape company, hockey tape?
Yeah, hockey tape.
Okay, didn't know that. Did you guys talk about the neck guards being?
Oh
Man.
yeah.
Hey!
I'm
My brother said about damn time.
I agree with your brother. The whole the Adam Johnson thing in the UK kind of really sparked this.
Mm-hmm.
Someone else.
We're back to the Richard Zednick stuff.
Yep.
Oh yeah, I remember.
Should have been that time even.
Yeah, but
Don Benya in the house. What's Don Benya got?
Dylan Coughlin to Vegas.
Wasn't
What-
he already on Vegas?
Yes.
I was going
Yes, he's
back
coming
1 year,
back.
775. There we go.
Don
Why
Bania,
is
they better look-
everyone just signing for league minimum today except like Chris Dvorak and like Vladar? Why is it like only Philly is giving out contracts to people?
Don Bania, they might have to look to move that Lankinen guy. Here they got someone pretty good behind him there in Vancouver. Man.
Kirby's gonna start a civil war between like the pro Finnish hockey people in our community and the pro Latvian hockey people in our community.
We welcome everyone. We had a Latvian, I think, in the chat one night.
Yeah. Well, Jamie's also pretty pro Latvian, so cage
Hey,
fight
we-
between him and Don Bania when.
Hey, I love the
We-
Finnish. I stick up for them every night in space.
Exactly. But we do have a lot of people from Finland watching, so
Yeah.
we definitely get a
Hey,
couple messages.
We
from
are Barkov truthers here. We stand for Anton Lundell, the Mikala minions, like Cody with his Et2. Everyone wants to claim Et2 now.
Yeah. We're a global brand.
I was there first.
Cody, were you on our post-game show last night? We had callers, Vancouver and Edmonton fans, and they're like, to me and Nick, isn't Et2 like a surefire top 6 forward, right, Nick? Sometimes when your players get overvalued because of what you see in the playoffs, doesn't mean
I understand how role players on cup-winning teams get overpaid now. Very
Yeah.
much so.
I like Lusto, but like he's like a 40
Me and
point
Cody got
forward
the
at the
same
very
thing.
best. Like I remember after 2023, there were some people saying like, "Oh, Lusto could get 60 points." I was like, "No, he's not. He's just not that guy." Like this is the best you're getting out of him. 40 points.
He got
You complaining about Lusto now though?
no?
Are
because
ya?
he got like almost got 20 in the playoffs.
Yeah. No, you're not complaining about Lusto. You're like, man, that Lusto helped us get 2 straight cups. There you go. That's what you're doing. That's what you're doing. Okay?
Good. Greetings, Miss Polinskis. Oh man.
Heath Cat said hard disagree on Et2. What do you disagree on there?
Yeah, I don't.
Because I just think he lacks that finishing ability that you're never going to change. You can have it for a playoff run or half a
Yeah.
playoff.
I just
Doesn't
don't
mean
think
you're-
he's like a 60-point forward or anything. Like, I think you can
No.
get 40 out of 35, 40 out of him at best, but it's like he's a skilled enough forechecker to the point where if you needed to put him on a second line for like a spot, you could do that.
But a few years ago, I thought he was going to make the jump to a 50-point guy. Didn't even sniff it.
Yeah.
So
And he's still young, so he still has that opportunity to eventually get there.
yeah,
And maybe
I don't
more
know.
so
I don't know.
now. I don't know.
Well,
Maybe more so now with Marchand on his wing for the whole season.
Well, you're playing with talent. That's more than him like developing. I don't think he's developing at the age. What is he? 27, 28? I don't think he's hitting another.
I think he's like a year younger than Kachuk because he was drafted in 17, Lusto.
Okay. I
Two
don't know.
spots after we took Alexei Hepaniemi, by the way.
Ooh, I was really high on him too. I know he was undersized, but I really liked his skill assets. Just never.
He had a lot of skill. He just never added the strength to
No.
translate to the pro game. Someone say something. Nick, I'm putting it on you. Say something. Start a conversation.
Sorry, I was scrolling through Twitter. Yeah, well, yeah. I mean,
Well, you got nothing from all the insiders. Nothing.
no, there's nothing at all. Nothing. Like they're taking the day off.
I'm
Almost.
throwing it all to you guys. I'm distributing the ball here all day here today. I got a lot of dimes.
You know, all of these teams that were like, okay, we're gonna get this money and we're gonna go gangbusters in free agency have done nothing. Carolina's done nothing except trade for Keandre Miller, and that hasn't even gone through
Anaheim
yet.
hasn't done
Nothing. Minnesota that finally has cap space because the Suter and Parise buyouts are finally not $15 million of dead cap anymore. Nothing. Like, I get,
Great song, Jack.
Jack out here referencing 2015's top 40 songs. Okay. But it's like, I get it if it's okay. We had all these names that looked like they were going to hit the market, and then in the period 24 to 48 hours before, they just all of that got killed off. But it's like, you had no contingency plans, you had no backups, you had no plan Bs, no plan Cs. Like, so now it's like, well, we thought we were going to sign Mitch Marner. Well, what do we do now?
We got some news.
Do we?
Yeah.
Chris Wagner signs a 2-year deal in Springfield.
Former Panthers.
Seriously?
Farmland.
Seriously?
Oh, I'm seeing Nate Schmidt on
One
my
second.
Sportsnet's breaking down some Nate Schmidt highlights here. Give me a second.
It's,
Oh,
it's
is
we're
he
just
close
going
to
over him.
signing?
I just think they're talking Nate Schmidt.
Listen to what they're saying.
Okay. I'll put myself on mute.
So how's everybody doing today?
David referencing The Simpsons now.
So, what are your thoughts on that Jake Allen deal, Vince?
With New Jersey?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's not like there were that many competent backup goalie options out there. I think 5 years is a bit long for Allen, but, I guess could be worse. Clearly,
it sounds like Anthony Manta will sign with Pittsburgh, so that's coming to fruition. And
that's
DeAndre Miller to Carolina. We still rate the return on that.
I mean, Pittsburgh, of course, is the team that's really making the push to get Gavin McKenna, which means knowing Pittsburgh, they're going to get Gavin McKenna. Because every 21 years, they get a generational talent in the draft. They get Lemieux in 84, they get Crosby in 05, they get McKenna in 26. It's the law.
Kirby, what do we have on Nate Schmidt? Anything?
Yeah, not too much. It was Kobe Armstrong just saying, like, unbelievable playoffs by him. And he did all of this with a healthy Panthers roster, and he was contributing there. So a lot of these GMs are looking at, he wasn't just given an elevated position and role because of an injury or something like that. He did all of this with a full lineup and, the most depth, there was in the NHL with the Panthers were utilizing up front and on the blue line. So, yeah, he should get paid handsomely. And they're looking at guys that can be puck movers right now. And you're seeing the guys that are available out there. There is guys out there with size and puck moving ability. So looks like the market is still there for the defense. It's very surprising because usually on July 1st, guys, you see the defense market go like that really quick. Middle pairing guys.
Like 2 years ago, it was like crazy.
Right? And you're not seeing that right now with the Nate Schmidts, Orloffs, Burns. Grizzlick's still out there as well, Nick?
Yes, he is.
Yeah. Not sure why they're showing Suter on that graphic.
Because he's also a free agent.
But he doesn't play that position.
Oh, Pia Suter?
I might have somebody, so just waiting for them to reply. All right,
guys?
Oh,
thank you. I got to check my messages too there. Appreciate that, Caesar.
Joining us live from Tallahassee, Cody Stevens. Cody, how are you? Oh my gosh.
To be fair, just in terms of like overall entertainment value, I would grade this day as Florida State garbage can.
Okay, but let's play.
Because like this has not been an entertaining.
We're gonna play a game here. I'm gonna start an NHL 25 franchise, and I'm a fantasy draft this, and you guys are gonna help me pick my team. How about that? Sound fun?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, we might have a guest here soon, so we'll see.
Oh, sweet. But hey, we'll hold it down like this until they get there. Because the last week we got was 8 minutes ago. Franchise. Okay.
I mean, Just waiting here.
Authentic. All right.
Nick, anything else on Jesper Boquist here today, or anything that we haven't given an update on?
Nope. Anything and everything. And the latest update was last night. Evan Rodriguez and Jesper Boquist
Are still Panthers.
are still Panthers, but last I heard last night they are being shopped. But Kachuk potentially going on LTIR could make for some interesting decisions.
Okay. All right. So Kirby, give me a random NHL team.
A random NHL team?
Yes.
Nashville. Yes, Caesar?
So
Dude.
yeah, actually, it's kind of crazy. The NHL was actually going to go after Paul Bisnet for reporting the contract that was offered to Marchand from Toronto.
Yeah, I have better sources than Biz.
Yeah, C's, I think you're gonna need to take the money from your merch sales, and you're gonna have to bail Biz out of prison.
I ain't
He's
bailing
going
his
out-
ass
he's
out.
going to Gary
You're gonna have
who
to bail him out of Gary
prison.
Bettman's prison.
If any contenders if anybody has become contenders as a result of the offseason, I think Utah will be a lot better.
Utah, I think, will be a playoff team next year.
Utah will be a
Contender, though? No.
Cody and I
Montreal.
had Utah there last year.
They were close last year. I think they're in this year.
Montreal, you'd have
They
to
had
think,
they had too many blue line injuries last year.
you'd have to think Montreal.
Cody's not feeling Montreal last night, Nick. I am. With the
Okay.
goal move.
Next question. Random number between 1 and 32.
We got some deals. Mikey Asimont and Sean Corrali are going to the Boston Bruins, both 2-year deals. Sean Corrali 1.85 and Mikey Asimont 1.45.
And
Hooray! Bottom six
and
forwards
a
to
Vince
Boston.
favorite guy here, Jacob Bernard Docker, is going to Detroit.
That's Jamie's guy. Yeah.
Well, they
There you
really
go.
took,
Now that's an addition to the blue line. For
they
sure
really
right
took
there.
this no tampering thing seriously. Like, let's wait
Yeah.
as long
I
as
mean,
We may have to go the extra hour.
What's funny is
here.
Boston's bringing back Sean Corrali. They're bringing him back.
Hey,
We'll go to the bottom of the hour here.
Ben, you have not missed a single.
You have
phone.
missed nothing, Ben.
I
You
have a
missed
question.
nothing.
All right, Caesar, give me a random number between 1 and 32.
Random number 1 to
Yeah.
32.
Yes.
11.
Okay, we're gonna have the 11th pick in the fantasy draft. Start.
I mean, Detroit, the thing is, they had, let me check their cap situation, because if
And
I
I
remember
would
correctly,
potentially-
they didn't have.
Man,
We lost Vane.
I cut myself off. They did
Lost.
not have that much money to begin with. Well, I'm lying, actually. They had $17 million. That's what it is. They had like no roster spots on the back end because they didn't clear out Sherrod or Hall. They're sticking with Eric Gustafson. And then they gave William Lagesson another year because reasons. So they really didn't have any space for anyone else. So I guess Bernard Docker, kind of their big ad there. Forwards, Detroit's got to do something. Like Detroit's got to add a forward in some way, shape, or form.
But-
I would hope.
all right, I need help, guys. So
Because they have $17 million. They got money to spend. They can do it if they want to. Steve, come on, do something, please.
Right?
all right, boys, we're in this. We got the 11th pick, and I'm feeling. This is how I'm feeling right now. I want to either go Eichel, Pasternak, Marner, or Matthew Tkachuk. What guy should
For
I
the
pick?
memes, go Marner.
I like center.
So you want to go Eichel?
Yeah, we'll go Eichel.
Yeah,
Caesar?
Eichel actually, in all
Caesar,
seriousness.
Eichel, Pasternak, Marner, or Tkachuk? Pasta. Kirby, what we feeling here?
Not feeling many of those names. Eichel.
You want to go Eichel? Because here's the thing. The other names are Kucherov, Panarin, Crosby, Point, Reinhardt.
So kind of, I know we really have not much to say, but let's kind of go back to what Toronto has done and what they've added here the last couple of days and what they've lost. Where do you see them as far as they were before the free agency.
I hate to cut you off.
Go
The
ahead.
Red Wings are signing James Van Riemsdyk.
Oh, okay, that's a good.
Hey,
sign.
there we go. It's something. I get he's old, but he's been a decent scorer the past few years. So,
That's a good
if they
signing
get him
for
on a
them.
1 year, probably around 1.5, that's not a bad deal for Detroit.
So back to the Toronto.
Back
thing
to the Toronto thing there, because I like some of their deals that they got. Right.
I
They
really
still-
like the Matthias Maselli pickup for them because I think they
Right.
needed help on the wings, and I think Maselli gives them that.
Obviously they lost Marner. They are gonna have to recuperate the goals that he provided for them in the regular season.
Nate
Nick
Schmidt to Utah. 3 years, $3.5 million.
There we go.
Hey,
Finally.
What did we say?
Finally.
3 and 4 million. Between 3 and 4 million. Cody.
Is that identical to the OEL deal from last
One
year?
last year. But Kirby, we've been saying it all year.
Yep, we told fans.
Good for
Agree.
him.
We were
Good
right
for
on.
him.
Good for him.
Nate Schmidt. And yeah.
Utah's a fun
Good
team to
for,
watch.
good for Schmitty. Good for
I'm
Gollum.
happy for him. Yeah. So we got Stenman over there, Smitty there. Man, they're slowly building a good contending team. Hopefully,
You
next
got one
year.
of Kirby's guys and Sean Dursey.
They added JJ Paterka.
Yep, Paterka's a fun watch. That's one of Ben's.
So-
Why does Utah love our like sloppy seconds?
Because they like, cup winning.
Shout out
grit.
Sean Avery. If you know, you know.
They made him go to anger management class for saying that.
Good for
Cody.
Nate Schmidt. I mean, that's a good deal
I'm
for him.
happy that it
What
really
do you think-
is.
Vince, do you think Tej McGinley's making the jump this year?
It's possible he makes the jump this year. I mean, he was injured for some of the year because he didn't go play for Team Canada at the World Juniors. He would have if he was healthy, but he wasn't at that time. They might send him back for another year of juniors, or he might go to the AHL just to be safe.
Oh, the AO.
But I wouldn't be surprised if Tej gets some games here and there. I don't know if he's a lineup fixture for the Mammoth, but I could definitely see him getting some games here and there for them.
Another
in
guy I
terms
want
of
to mention, Dylan Gunther. I'm big on him.
Gunther, yeah, he's a big piece
Huge,
for them.
especially
Huge piece for them, yeah. Utah, they had money to spend again. They had $15 million. They're spending $3.5 million of it on
Van
Schmidt.
Strike. So that's a 1 year, $1 million deal. So not bad for Detroit there.
Very good deal for Detroit in that case. What's interesting is that means that Utah would have 7 defensemen making over $2 million per year because Valimaki makes 2, Ian Cole makes 2.8, Mata makes 3.5, Schmidt's making 3.5, Marino makes 4.4, Dursey at 6, and then Sergachev at 8.5.
And they all already moved on Kessler, and you're wondering they were in on Schmidt here.
I think Schmidt kind of fills in that spot that was vacated with the departure of Michael Kesselring on the back end for Utah. And they'll still have $11.6 million to work with if they wanted to continue making some adds here and there to that roster. Jack McBain's an RFA. I assume they'll extend him, but he's a bottom 6 forward, so it shouldn't cost them that much. But Utah's got money. They have an owner that wants to make the playoffs, and they want to spend it. They don't want to be bottom feeders.
And for Nate Schmidt, I mean, you get bought out, so you're still getting paid by Winnipeg. Come here for cheap, win a cup, play very well, then get a nice little payday here, and you're going to a team that's still pretty good. Like, you don't diminish your chances of winning.
Yeah, he literally basically copied the OEL model, only he didn't go to Toronto.
Yeah, he went to Utah.
And I want to point out, they said we've signed Stanley Cup champion Nate Schmidt. Yes, sir.
Mm-hmm.
Stanley
That's
Cup
awesome.
champion.
Good for him. I'm happy for him. He deserves it.
Yeah,
Really awesome
enjoy
guy.
Salt Lake City, Nate Schmidt.
I can
Get
see
yourself some saltwater taffy and try some swig.
Yes.
There you go.
Definitely could see that. He'll definitely love it up there for sure.
If he likes mountain hiking, which most
We need to get
hockey
him a. He needs to get a beanie, or what do you call those in Canada?
toque.
Toques.
Yeah,
She'll
the
be wearing a
incorrect
lot of those
way.
there.
Yes. They are beanies.
Should I just put on one of my toques just because? Like
The fact that you said toque makes me want to just
hey, it's Canada Day. I want to be.
Probably picked one up in the Memorial Cup.
I didn't pick. I got a jacket from the Memorial Cup.
Oh,
I
you
can
didn't
show
pick
you
up,
that
like,
too.
Weren't they selling some or no?
They might have been selling beanies, but they weren't half off. The jacket I got was 50% off. I got it on Championship Sunday. So.
Oh, there we go.
Good point by David here. Yeah, I think they got a chance to even making the wild card.
Yeah,
they need to stay healthier this year, especially
injuries
on
really
the back
popped
end. But
them
I
last
think
year.
I think that's a wild card team.
Bob McKenzie is reporting all signs point to defenseman Nick Perbix going to Nashville on a 2-year deal.
Good old Barry Trotz not being good at his job.
I mean, I'd have to know what the cap it is, but Perbix for 2 years isn't that bad of a deal.
I just want to mention on the Utah front there, I know, Cody, you guys were high on him in the community. He did have to go through the player assistance program. I think Vejmelka is the guy there, but they had issues last year and now with Ingram, so
Yeah.
Vejmelka carry the load
But
there.
it was mainly losing Dursey and Marino for most of that year.
Yeah, on injuries as well on the back end there.
Yeah, it was just
I think
That's way all
the
that
urgent thing was fortifying the blue line. Just they had so many injuries and they traded away Kesselring to get Peterka. For goaltending, I think you're just banking on Ingram kind of bouncing back because he was pretty good in 23-24. And if you keep Ingram and Vejmelka, I think
he's
the Central's crowded, but I do think that is a playoff caliber tandem.
What team signed to Uvis next year?
Djurgården's in Sweden. That's who.
I think he stays in the NHL, actually.
He probably does. I'm just,
Okay.
just
any updates on any guests right now?
I was going to say
still waiting for a reply.
I'm
sure a lot of these guests are on with other people, so it's
okay.
Yeah, they probably got.
Should I draft Corey Perry?
Do you want to make the Cup Finals and then lose?
I mean, yeah.
Okay, then draft Corey Perry.
It's either him or I want to get or Josh Anderson or Gustav Nyquist.
I'd take Corey Perry out of those three.
All right, Corey Perry it is. And I think I drafted a full team. Yeah, I did. So we're going to send the rest of this draft.
We have a signing. The Florida Panthers.
Wow. Okay.
They have signed defenseman Jeff Petrie.
Oh,
League minimum plus bonus contract.
Jeff Petrie.
Plus bonus. Oh no. No.
This has Mark
Jeff.
Stahl written all over it. Mark Stahl.
Petrie,
1 year,
Jeff
$775.
Petrie. Oh. I wish it was Nick Perbix or Brent Burns at this point.
Per
We
Elliot.
got a signing, folks.
We did it. So, all right, let's pause here. All right,
He's right shot.
Do the ad read. Do the ad read. Do another ad read.
like why?
I don't know.
Okay, so Jeff Petrie last year played in Detroit.
Why do we keep showing the comments on these things?
Hitler dead. Okay, so Jeff Petrie, 8 points in 44 games last year for defenseman hell in Detroit. His career high came in 2018-19 with Montreal with 46 points in 82 games. Was really good for Montreal for a couple of years. Had 4 straight 40-point seasons, so he was a consistent defenseman. Let's see here.
There's the comments. The ugly get uglier. He's going to get a free cup. Panthers get worse.
Is he really I thought he was washed in Detroit.
He was.
He was
extremely washed.
And then he had a tough year in Montreal. 27 points in 68 games in 21-22. In Pittsburgh, he had an okay year, 31 points in 61 games. And then Detroit, he just went to hell.
So do they want him to get some PP2 looks here? You know,
Maybe.
like,
I would assume
Over his career, he's been a consistent 20-minute guy.
I love this comment from a fan. He will somehow turn into Al McInnes down there. I'd love that. Al McInnes.
Yeah, we okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
How old is
2
he?
years,
37?
2.75 for Perbix.
Maybe we could just go get Al
2
McInnes.
point. Wait. How much for Perbix?
2.75.
That's a bit too much.
Jeff Petrie is 37 years old. Will turn 38 December 9th.
Yeah, I don't know if you heard that big thunderclap outside, but I think God is angry about Jeff Petrie coming
did
here.
hear
So.
But
I
you know
don't know
what?
much about him, guys. So
I just know he's
This
old
reminds
and
me of Mark
he's
Strong.
literally running on fumes at this point.
I hear the
Been
thunder too
around for a
now.
while, Caesar.
I wish we could watch film.
Yeah, but YouTube will strike us for copyright.
yeah, we can't now
Ben,
that we're being
well,
monetized.
2 by 2.75 for Perbix in Nashville.
A little too much.
Uh,
Not
and
awful, but too much.
The Brent Burns dream is dead.
Indeed.
Yeah. You'll take
What?
you'll take your Jeff Petrie and you'll like it.
What happened with Petrie again when both his eyes turned like red like the devil?
Oh,
What happened with that again? Did he get high sticked and then hit with a puck?
That's an old bottom pair.
I think that's he got high sticked and like it ruptured the blood vessels in his eyes.
Wow.
You guys think this is just a body for the camp?
Do you think it's possible he gets moved down to Charlotte, or is he going to make the team, you think?
I think
Very
he
good
probably
take.
makes the team.
it's a chance
So it'll
for
be
either.
him and Belinskas as the 6-7.
So,
And
So
I think they'll probably rotate them. I have to know what the bonuses are because
So-
like
yeah, they're not as high on Blinkus and Magna, those type of guys, I guess, with this move.
So we'll have a guest here in 15 minutes.
I think what they're
Oh, is
thinking
it a
is
surprise?
I mean I mentioned this yesterday. I think it's okay. We
If it's from C's, I don't know who.
have
no, we had him
more
yesterday, too.
bodies than
Oh, sweet. gotta meet
like
him.
more bodies than spots, just so that way, like if someone gets hurt, we know who to call up.
Okay. But I have finished my NHL fantasy draft. And I think Kirby's going to like my centers here. I think Kirby will like my centers. Down the middle, I have Jack Eichel, Brock Nelson, William Karlsson, Michael Backlund.
You finally got Backlund on a team. Oops. That's not a bell for anything.
I was gonna say, did we have a trade or something?
Kirby added a soundboard to this thing.
That new soundboard.
Did
I
someone
mean-
get a W for something? Because I don't think anyone in their right mind had Jeff Petrie. But anyway,
Red Wings signed a
No.
defenseman. They signed Ian Mitchell to league minimum 1 year.
man, that's a name.
That's not a name that Cody mentioned this week.
Former national
I probably
champion with
skipped
the
over it.
University of Denver, I believe. Ian Mitchell.
Okay.
Back in the Jim Montgomery years and the pre-David Carl era for the Pioneers.
But
I don't know much about Petrie, so I'm not gonna hold my comments.
He's
until-
not good anymore.
Yeah, I
He
mean, I
used
think
to be
it's
good. He isn't good anymore. He's like
You bring him
he's
into
got like no tread left on the tires, but he at least has a pulse, I guess.
so
Nick, would you have him ranked lower than where you had OEL 2 off seasons ago? And
oh yeah, are you kidding me? Yeah, this is like Mark Stahl level going in. Like I'll say this,
I don't think it's that level.
maybe
no,
not. that
I wouldn't put it that bad.
I'll say this. It's just a rotational guy at the 6-7 spot, right shot guy.
He's a veteran.
He's a veteran. Rotate him at 6-7 with Belinskas, and then at the deadline go upgrade. And then once you upgrade, Kirby, you have Petrie and Belinskas as your 7-8. That's better depth than we've had in the past.
Vito hasn't done that yet with Mark Stahl because he had no other choice. He didn't do it with OEL, and he definitely didn't do it with Schmidt. Didn't upgrade.
Oh, we got some deals. Oh my gosh.
Okay.
LA is just
Okay.
signing a bunch of terrible deals.
We
And
haven't
update
done that
on-
in a while.
I
Oh my
love how that happened
goodness.
right after Nick just said LA is signing a bunch of terrible deals.
Cody Ceci to LA, 4 by $4.5 million.
What?
Brian Dumoulin, 3 years, $4 million AAV. Anton Forsberg, 2 by $2.5. That's actually not. like,
Forsberg's good.
2.5.
Cody, put the trash can down for Forsberg.
All right. Bring up the other names.
So it's CC 4 by 4.5.
Yeah.
It's Dumoulin 3 by 4, and Forsberg 2 by 2.25.
Where's the other team? In
You
Southern-
pass on 1 out of 3, LA. Good
And
job.
according to
What's
Jeff,
Anaheim doing?
and according to Jeff, some analytics on Jeff Petrie, take this as you will. He did decent defensive metrics in his second pair role last year. I think, again, nothing special.
If you're reading what I sent you, it's middling results on offense and defense against middling competition. He's played with decent teammates, takes a lot of penalties, so that'll fit in perfectly. Doesn't score a lot of goals, doesn't do a lot of finishing. For some reason, Detroit played him on the PK, which I think was a stupid idea, but they did, and it wasn't horrendous, but it wasn't great. But yeah, there's not much left. There's like no tread left on the tires with Petrie. So
I actually like Magna. I think he's going to be a little bit. I have him
I
higher.
don't mind Magna. I think maybe if they do sign him, it would be kind of the same situation like this year where it's he spends the year in Charlotte and then an injury or two and he's like rotational.
He's a 7-8 now. He might be an 8-9, just like I said before today here.
That's if he resigns.
What's that?
That's if
That's
he
it.
resigns.
That's true.
Yeah, but with Petrie's, I can't really judge him on his Red Wings because the Red Wings are a tire fire on the back end.
Yeah,
But he is at the end of his career here. Too.
now.
I don't
Just
know.
to talk about LA, they have CC Dumoulin and Joel Edmondson.
What the hell is that
Yeah.
decor?
That is a Ken Holland decor right there, buddy.
Okay, so
LA had $13 million, by the way.
So
And
are-
they just pissed away almost $10 million
isn't Dumoulin right shot as well?
I think
No.
he's left.
Right.
They just pissed away $10 million on the likes of Forsberg.
No, don't include Forsberg into that.
Okay, well
Jeff
they
Petrie-
just pissed away $8 million on the likes of CC and Dumoulin.
Jeff
$8.5 million
Petrie played. Actually, take a look at his last 2
flushed
years.
down the toilet on that one.
You take a look at Jeff Petrie the last 2 years. Played around 1850 in terms of ice time. I don't love plus minus, but on bad Detroit teams, -7 and -2. 24 points in 73 games 2 years ago. Last year, 8 points in 44 games. I guess it's fine. Him and Balinskis are going to rotate.
And he'll likely wear the number 46, most notably, at least to me, worn by Jakob Kindl, I guess.
Another former Red Wing.
I can't think of any other Panther that wore 46 other than Kindle, and I don't even remember if he wore it.
Man. So,
Crazy. Well, that was an interesting last minute and a half.
so I don't know who the hell's going to be my trash GM of the day. I don't.
Ken Holland.
Wait, Cody. So you're telling me there's a GM award that Jim Nill probably won't win?
Dude, Don Sweeney's up there, man.
But come on, it's a GM award, and like those all just go to Jim Nill. Everyone knows that.
Oh, yeah. Let's try to figure it out. But
Taco, Carolina has not done anything dumb yet because they've hardly done anything. The only thing they've done is trade for Keandre Miller.
if Carolina
And that's not even final. They're still working on a contract with that one.
if Carolina's smart, they would just wait till the deadline at this point. Because they do have the ammo to go and get any guy they want. They have the 2 first-round picks from the Rantanen deal. They signed Stamkos into a hell of a deal. Miller's probably going to get around 4.5, 4 maybe. So, and just don't do anything stupid. Just wait to the deadline to do something. That's how I feel about it because they're still going to make the playoffs either way.
I mean, I still think they go out and get Ehlers, and I don't think that would be a bad move.
We'll see. But-
By the way, I did look. The only players in Panthers history to ever wear the number 46, and that, if Jeff Petrie wears that number, are Jakob Kindl from 2016 to 2017, and very briefly, David Booth in 2007.
I
Isn't
remember
Balinskis
that.
26?
Huh?
20.
Balinskis-
Balinskis-
Balinskis wears 26, right?
Balinskis wears 26. Petrie 46.
Yeah, but
Petrie usually wears 46.
Petrie wore 26 in Montreal, so that's why I was asking.
Yeah, well, he can't wear 26 because that's Uvis's number.
I would like to talk about that Chris comment above there, guys. Something I thought about with Ekblad re-signing with the Panthers yesterday is Mike Benning on the outs, because that first right-handed D and second right-handed D is locked. And how I look at Benning is he's a top 4 bust. So you got Ekblad and Jones signed long-term now. I don't know if there's use for Benning now moving forward.
Yeah, but the problem with Benning is just the lack of size that he has.
Yeah, I don't know if but that's the thing. To say on the outs, I'm not 100% sure about that.
I'm starting to feel that last night on the Ekblad thing. Because if you signed a transitionary guy to come in, then you can work Benning into that, Vince. But you got Ekblad locked up long-term, and Jones is locked up long-term on the Chicago deal. So that just came to my mind last night.
I could definitely see him being on the outs, but I do also think it's like,
But do you want to lose value with him by playing him on a bottom pairing and you're not playing him on any power play time, and then you lose all value with that prospect versus moving him out now versus then?
My question is, who would you get for him now, and what could you get for him now? Because like with Sordiff, at least you could make the argument that's a guy who's playing in the NHL next season.
You would get a guy like Vladimir Tarasenko like at the deadline for a guy like Benning if you
Possible. Minnesota has Vlad Tarasenko now, and if they're pushing playoffs,
a guy like that is what I'm saying.
Yeah, I know a guy like that, but
that's what I'm saying.
I had to mention that Minnesota got
the Dallas Stars are bringing back Roddick Foxa, a 3 years, $2 million AAV. Nice payday.
So he tested the market and he's coming back.
So remember he was with St. Louis.
Oh, coming back.
And he's going back to Dallas, who sent him to St. Louis.
And Jonathan Drouin is going to the New York Islanders on a 2-year deal.
Wow.
That's very Islanders-like. So not sticking around in Colorado where it actually was working for him there. I know, Cody, you were big on kind of Drouin in Colorado.
And, I don't know that.
I don't like that move for them.
I think it helps them with their scoring depth.
No, it doesn't. You're going to go to – it's not going to work.
I don't think he'll be as prolific.
He ain't playing with Nathan McKinnon out there. He went from Nathan McKinnon to Bo Horvat.
The Islanders have talked to
it's not awful. I've seen worse.
Are the Islanders looking to move a Barzal or Horvat, Vince? I've started to hear murmurs about that a little bit.
I think all options are on the table for Matthew Darsh on that front. I don't think they're going to move Barzal or Horvat unless they get a really good return. They kind of had to with Dobson.
$4 million AAV for Jonathan Drouin.
4?
Get the trash can. Get the trash can.
$4 million?
That's just too much money.
Guys, they want a tank. So put the trash can down because it's all a part of the tanking plan. You know this, Vince.
Okay. The only team that's really, really, really trying to tank is Pittsburgh right now. Everyone else is at least trying to nominally get better.
2-year, $4 million AAV.
Kirby's going to be really mad if Pittsburgh actually doesn't get Kevin McKenna. But if they lose the lottery, Kirby will make so many jokes about Kyle Dubas and the like that I think like his phone might actually just start melting in his hands if Pittsburgh tanks for McKenna and loses the lottery. Because we all know Kirby's favorite GM in this league is Kyle Dubas. Or his favorite punchline of a joke. I don't remember which.
Look.
Misery for McKenna and losing for Landon. Yes. There we go. That's what it is.
Misery for McKenna, losing for Landon.
Pierre LeBrun saying, I'm not saying Petry's going to get a $3.5 million deal here like OEL did. And Schmidt here, but he's like, it's interesting move by the Panthers here.
Well, we got
Joining
a
us-
special guest, guys.
He joined us
joining
yesterday.
again.
Hey, what's up,
Hey.
everybody? How are you?
What's up?
Oh, Jim.
Hey, Jim. It's great to meet you, buddy. He wasn't on yesterday, but hey.
Hey, what's going on? How are you? How's everybody?
We're
Bored.
hanging in there.
Bored.
I mean, I think the whole hockey world is a little bored. I'm gonna be honest. I think everybody, it's the holiday up in Canada. They're like, yeah, we'll get everything done on Monday.
Yes.
I could be outside doing stuff right now, but
Yeah,
we're here.
yeah.
So let's kind of jump in real quick. What do you think of these signings here LA is doing? We're kind of questioning some of these deals.
I mean, look, I think you look at what LA needs, right? Like they definitely need some defense. And Ken Holland had Cody Ceci in Edmonton, so that kind of makes sense. Like that one, Corey Perry, he brought Corey Perry into Edmonton. So to me, that they needed that. They kept Kuzmenko. Once Besser signed, I think everything kind of went into haywire for a bunch of these teams that were looking at, a goal scorer, right? Besser signs in Vancouver, and LA's out, Jersey's out. Like all these teams that need a goal scoring. Well, we can't get somebody, so we got to beef up our back end. Now, I will say it's a little much for Cody Ceci, but, price of doing business on free agency for guys like that. And again, I will say this about Cody Ceci. I know he gets a bad rap, but he is Mr. Steady Eddie there. If you need a 6th, 7th defenseman, he wasn't the reason the Oilers lost the cup in the first time they played the Panthers.
No.
So they ran him out of town. Dumoulin's a good signing because he was good for New Jersey on D. So they're beefing up and helping out their goalie a little bit. They're trying to beat Edmonton or whoever they play in the first round. They need to get out of the first round. So
Dumoulin has
the magic over there.
Yeah, Dumoulin has I'm just seeing on screen about 86 games of playoff experience as
Yeah,
well.
so that's huge for them. That's huge for them. And he played a big role in New Jersey with all the injuries this year. Tom Fitzgerald had him in Pittsburgh. The Devils are going to try to keep him, but they knew once the market opened, they can't keep him. And plus, like the big thing for New Jersey, they keep Jake Allen, they sign Connor Brown, but a lot of what they can do is dependent on what Luke Hughes' extension is going to be, and they don't really have a lot of cap space to work with as is.
Yep. And look, and they're going to try and get Quinn too. So they're trying to get the Hughes brother trio, but I don't know how.
Vancouver saying Cody, they got to look to trade him this summer.
Oh, another Panthers signing here.
Okay.
Jack
Breaking news.
Studnicka, 1-year, 2-way deal, $775,
It's
$440.
Player, I remember him in Boston. I watched him in Boston a lot.
Yep.
Bottom 6 forward kind of guy, right?
Definitely bottom 6 guy, good AHLer too. If you need somebody, goes up and down a little bit. So a good player for him. I mean, I'm amazed. Like I was talking with some people yesterday that the fact they get no 6 on, the fact that Tarasov gets a nice deal. You bring in Jeff Petrie on a minimum deal. Like I said, that's your Nate Schmidt replacement on defense, and here we are, Florida Panthers. Everybody's running it back again.
Yep.
Well, I have a question. Do you think, and everybody here, do you think that this deal, $775? I mean, obviously we talked about you need depth forwards. Evan Rodriguez, Jesper Boqvist could be on their way out. Do you think that could be part of it, or is it just a minor league depth guy?
Who,
Finally.
Studnicka? I mean,
Yeah.
I mean, if you move out Boqvist, then he could come up, fill a role. You kept Nosek, right?
Right.
Rodriguez moves. Okay, there's the kind of the money in and out with everybody
Mhm.
going on. Again, my eye and my brain is kind of moving towards, okay, what's down the line and Matthew Tkachuk, like what's going on with him and surgery and everything. Assuming he starts the season, another move has to be made here. Rodriguez, Boqvist, somebody's gotta be moved.
Yeah. And I think it's because here's the thing, because Anaheim's still nowhere near the cap floor yet. So that could be an option if they want to move Erod. And look, Erod is going to be a valuable asset because remember 2 cup winners, and he was a big part in the Stanley Cup final win for the Panthers in 2024. I mean, led us some points, honestly. So it's just with him, I think Tkachuk's going to spend the year on spend the first half of the year LTIR. But I don't see the whole year because of the Olympics.
Well, that's the thing, and depends on when he comes back, right? Because the Olympics are February. You can't Like, if he's really going to play in the Olympics, he better be back by November, December.
Yeah.
If that's really the case, or else he's not playing in the Olympics for Team USA and he wants to be there. So I think that's something to watch. Again, they have time. They can go over the cap 10% in the summer and make some moves along the way. Again, I wouldn't be shocked if Bill Zito somewhere down the line, 11 o'clock in the summer on a July night where, everybody's just grilling and barbecuing, makes a trade,
Right.
clears some cap space. This guy moves out. That typical, right? Typical what he's doing. And like I said yesterday, I put a tweet out before after Gavrikov signed in New York. I'd like to know where the no state tax people are now. 7 million in New York. Provorov got 8.5 in Columbus. Something doesn't add up to me.
The D market, Jim, usually moves a little quicker on July 1st. Any indication why that didn't happen? And with the Panthers, I would have looked at someone like Klingberg, but now wonder what price he'll go for here.
Okay.
Yeah, well, I think another big reason why we didn't see a lot of movement early is because the NHL's watching everybody. Like, I think that Gavrikov deal was probably going to be announced at like 12:01, but gotta wait because everybody's looking at tampering, and the NHL didn't like 20 signings within 5 minutes last year. So I think that's something. And I think teams are doing their due diligence on players as well. Like, who do we really need? We could take a little bit more time here. Like, Nikolai Ehlers is not even supposed to sign today, so he may not even sign until tomorrow. So he's doing his due diligence on where he wants to go. But the D market itself, like, again, right shot defenseman, such a premium. Apparently, Bowen Byram got an offer sheet, but we don't know what the team is. Teams are looking to try to trade for him because his versatility. But we see a run on the D market because, everybody loves defensemen. Everybody needs defensemen. And because defense still wins championships, but you still need to score too. Florida had a nice balance last year of both in the Stanley Cup final and in the playoffs. It also helps when you have Sergei Bobrovsky back there as well. Stop the clock.
The one thing that shocked us, I think, from us is the amount of goals we scored in that postseason run. I mean, like, on the road, we were putting up 4 or 5 goals consistently.
Well, and the D scoring wasn't there all year, and you're getting that in a playoff run.
Like Jim, like Kirby's biggest concern going to the postseason was actually depth scoring.
Yeah, I didn't know we were going to get all those goals from the D-man.
And then look who
We
showed
also
up.
didn't know Brad Marchand.
Brad Marchand, Utu Esterainen, and Anton Lundell, the best third line in the National Hockey League right now. And that's
the line I wanted, Jim, but I didn't know they were going to necessarily run with that. And then you get all the D scoring that you do in the playoffs.
Yeah, that's huge too. I mean, and like, I believe the stat was like 20 out of the 21 players that suited up for the Panthers in the playoffs had a goal.
Yeah, the only one that didn't was Tomáš Nosek.
Yeah, so like, that's depth scoring, and no number, no analytical number, no metric is going to say, hey, this is how you get depth scoring. Guys either fit into your system or they don't.
Yeah, the analytics didn't have that fourth line that Paul Maurice put together. I'll tell you that.
No,
I don't think anybody did.
No, I don't think anybody did. And the way he swapped guys out, like, he starts for Hagee second line, then he flips him with Rodriguez. See how things work. So that's how it works with hockey. You find your chemistry.
Right. And no, great point. So let's kind of move on here a little bit. I love what Utah is doing. They're slowly getting better, right? Congratulations to Nate Schmidt. Helped us win the Stanley Cup this year. Great deal. 3 years, $3.5 million.
Yeah, it's a great deal for him. I mean, not overpriced. 3-year deal. Solid deal for him. And look, Utah's building, right? They got a tough Central Division. Ryan Smith wants his team to be a winner, though. Like, they can't wait. Like, they got there. They were getting close last year. They got to make another move. They got JJ Peterka. I know they probably were trying to get Mitch Marner last year. They were trying to get him this year, but that didn't work out. And once Brock Besser went off the market, and the word is Nikolai Ehlers only wants to play someplace warm, that kind of takes a lot of players and places out of contention. But I'm loving what Utah is doing. It's better than some of the other teams out there that are spending money. Seattle, I'm looking at you.
I'm looking at LA.
Yeah, besides LA, but I'm looking at Seattle, and I'm like, all right.
Take a look at Boston too, with throwing out money at Tanner Jeannot.
First of all, Boston. Like, I covered that team a while as well with some people during their run. Look, Sean Corrali's back again. I guess they went back to the future with him. But look, I was very high on Boston for their draft. I was very high on the Morgan Geekie signing. Tanner Jeannot and Victor Arvidsson. Bro,
What?
that was
I know.
like
I think we all went
Come on,
nuts
man.
when we heard that. We were like,
because they were
what's going on?
supposed to be bringing in younger guys this year, and here we go again.
It's just so, like, I don't know.
But
And
you
then-
guys not like what's worse, the Seattle and what LA's doing, or like Anaheim, Columbus? What are they doing?
And they,
Well,
especially
Columbus
with
kept their
Anaheim.
guys. Columbus kept their guys, Fabro, Provorov. They kept their guys.
Okay.
But
they were going to be big spenders here, right?
Yeah, they were supposed to be big spenders, but when everybody's starting to stay at home,
it kind of screwed everything up.
it kind of screws everybody up. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, Brock Besser staying screwed everything up. Now, I think if Mikael Granlund doesn't sign, he's not signing in Dallas. Does he go to a place like Columbus? He's a good fit there for Columbus. That's
For
a nice
me-
piece for them.
Yeah, for me, Granlund looks good there. For Utah, I'm staring at Pia Suter right now.
Yeah, that's a nice fit for them. Although typical Canucks, they could bring Suter back. Like, I mean, they bring their own drama on. I have friends out there, but I text them all the time. I'm like, Canucks, what are we doing? Like, Demko's 3-year deal with a full no move clause every year. Connor Garland's deal is fine. Bringing back
Garland,
Brock Besser, he was supposed to be gone, and he comes back. It's like, okay,
and now you're paying your 2 goalies $13 million for 3
next year,
years.
yeah, next year, $13 million for 2 goalies.
And it's just
Well, and Anaheim, get back to Anaheim. They
Yeah.
were last year, and then right now, what are they doing on day one? This is supposed to be a big year here for Verbeek and everything like that. You've got a lot of guys. It's going to have to go the trade route again.
No, exactly. They were trying to get in on a bunch of guys last year. I know they tried for Stamkos last year, like Detroit tried for Stamkos. I'm wondering if New Jersey goes to like Pat Verbeek and be like, Andre Palat, you want him? You're trying to make the playoffs. Like maybe pick up a salary there. But the Devils kind of need the $6 million on their cap.
I wonder about Jonathan Marchessault if he gets
That's a
shot.
good
for
one.
I mean, I think Jonathan Marchessault. So last year leading up to free agency, the Devils were going to sign Jonathan Marchessault, and then the 11th hour, it changed to Nashville. And Fitzgerald didn't want to give him the no move all year. He didn't want to give him 5 years.
I agree with that from
Me too.
Fitzgerald's standpoint.
I agree with that, but you need a goal scorer. But I think Anaheim, it fits there because they have 2 of the same player in Nashville with Stamkos and Marchessault, and you got to change the look. But again, Nashville, what are we doing? We're shipping out Jeremy Lauzon and Colton Sissons, and we're bringing in Nick Hague. I like Nick Hague, but he's a third pairing guy, and the money that he got.
Yeah,
you need all the draft picks that Nashville gave away that they had, the young players, could be the future of this team right now, and they could remain in contention and not at the bottom of the league with just relying on veterans.
Yeah, and it's like they just brought in a more expensive Lauzon.
Yeah.
Like, it was like that deal. And, as Panther fans, it's really screwing us because Nico Mikkola is up in a year.
Right.
If Nick Hague's getting 5.5, Mikkola can get freaking 7.
But the difference is the cap's going up to $130 million.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
That's a
It
big
goes
jump.
up.
I do want to talk about another team. It's
Yeah.
not out west, actually our cross-state rival, Tampa Bay.
Yeah, I was going to go with that.
Been very quiet. Not a lot surrounding them. I know they have limited cap space. What do you think about what they could do? I know they just got connected to Tampa to Nikolai Ehlers, I think by Emily Kaplan.
Yeah, Ehlers they're looking at Ehlers, but they got to move some money if they're going to bring in Ehlers, especially if Ehlers is going to get $8.5 million on an AAV. So they have to move some money out. And how much more are they going to hurt their own team to bring in a guy like Nikolai Ehlers? Yeah, that helps them, but I think they could get worse on D. And
Like their problems on the back end, it ain't forwards.
it's not forwards. They don't have problems scoring goals. It's on the back end. That's where they need help the most, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So
100%. Because I still think the Sergachev move was one of the dumbest moves I've ever
I didn't
seen.
like that move. I didn't like that move. I know they brought back Ryan McDonough. I get it. I like Ryan McDonough, but I don't like giving away young players that are futures of your team, a la in Pittsburgh with Jake Getzel. I didn't like it.
And I don't like Ehlers as a fit in Tampa at the top.
No, he doesn't fit there. I think if anything, he's going Carolina, to be honest. That's my gut.
You know what's like my gut? Like everything in my head is like Carolina. But I wonder, maybe like does Columbus actually go after him, or does like a team in the cold overpay for him?
I think Washington might be a team you want to watch out for with Ehlers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Washington could be a something like
I
that.
believe Emily Kaplan said that that's another
Yeah.
team to watch for.
Yeah, so
because-
Washington, again, Columbus could come out of nowhere with a bunch of these guys. Detroit, I don't know, like again, they were in on a bunch of defensemen, and then everybody went where they were supposed to go. Steve Eisenman's got some pressure on him.
What
To get
about
some-
Anaheim?
And
Considering Quinville's there.
Well, we did say Anaheim there, Caesar. Detroit also, they keep adding the goalies as well.
Yeah.
We didn't touch on Anaheim again, but we did touch on them there, Caesar. Carolina, Cody mentioned this, wait to the deadline. I don't know if you're Carolina, you can wait to the deadline and hope to make a deal or hope.
No, you can't. You got to get it done now. The issue in Carolina, again, I'll say it, until I'm proven wrong, the owner doesn't want to spend money on players.
And
Yeah.
John McClain, right? Our former Panther head coach, even said they're cheap, right?
Oh, Doug
Yeah,
McClain.
London doesn't.
Doug
I
McClain.
know what the reports are about teams, and the GM can ask for as much money to a player as he wants. Does the owner want to fork it over?
Yeah, and it's also Carolina has the worst facilities in the league.
Right. So there's got to be an upgrade there. Got to spend the money, as we're seeing in Florida. Florida wants to spend the money. So
Yeah, like the Panthers.
Cody, if you're Carolina, you can't wait till the deadline because if you strike out, you're going right into the
Yeah,
play.
but they're striking out. Wait, something happened? Something. Who the Cole Koepke to the Jets.
yeah, I mean,
Like,
yeah. There's not much happening today, but look, Florida kept their team together. Now let's see where Ehlers goes. Everybody else stayed. It's gonna be an interesting couple more days and hours when it comes to this stuff. So
Oh yeah. I mean, because here's the thing: if Ehlers does not go to Carolina, I think Carolina's screwed.
well, they signed Stankoven, but they don't have a lot of other stuff.
Yeah, like Stankoven's cool, but
Yeah.
like, unfortunately, I think a big issue they have is like no one wants like to bring this up, but Sebastian Aho to me is not really an elite 1C or a guy I don't think you can win a cup with unless you have like some elite guys with him.
Here's the issue with Carolina, and I got to bounce in like 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Rod Brindamore, maybe it's time to change the system because the players you want to go after may not want to play and fit into that system.
Yep.
Mitch Marner, Nikolai Ehlers, there are a bunch of other guys, Mikko Rantanen, who they traded for. Maybe it's time to change the system so the players can come there and play the right way.
Yeah, Gensel too.
Gensel.
Getzel. So my 2 cents on Carolina there. Glad to be back on the show, guys. I appreciate the invite, Big C.
Of course, we appreciate
Thank
you.
you,
Oh,
man.
Right.
sure.
Yeah, it
So-
was dead before you got here. I'm glad you
All
brought
right.
some energy back.
Always
Yeah.
got to bring the energy, guys. Always bringing the energy.
Oh yeah. But-
Definitely. And we'll definitely put your social platform on our
Yep.
X's and our social media. Make sure you guys follow Jim anytime. Really great stuff around the league too. So
Hey, thank you so much, guys. Thank you so much for having me on the show again today. And I'll be anytime you need me, I'll be there.
Appreciate
Sounds
it.
good, Jim.
Appreciate
Thank
it,
you.
Jim.
Appreciate-
But he brought some good talking points, thankfully,
yes.
because now with like
You got some. What do you got for us, Cody?
nothing. Because like all of it's just like I don't know. Like if you ask me, like
What's surprising you about July 1st? The thing to me is the defense market. But
that's what it is, and the amount of like
Well, they've
I
started to go here lately, but I mean, it took a little while. But Brent
day 2
Burns,
is a busy day as well.
Brent Burns is still out there. Mikhail Granlund is also still out there. Pew Suter. None of the centers really have gone off the
The
market.
Suter one's interesting, but that market.
I think he has a pretty big market.
now Suter,
There's a couple of names. And
Suter, you don't want to wait too long because then your market value starts to drop. So you got to hit at that right point. It might be day 2.
there's a couple
Because
of
at some
intriguing-
point the
Hold
teams
on,
start
hold
to
on,
pivot
Vince.
to their B and C options, and they'll sign on the dotted
Turtle
line.
options,
So if
too.
you're patient
Just-
waiting, the more teams start to
Yeah.
all of a sudden pull
There's a
out.
couple-
Now it becomes you don't have as many bidders.
There's a couple of intriguing names, like also on the winger market: Taylor Radish, Anthony Beauvillier, Andrew Mangiapane, all Washington.
That's a
Capitals.
guy that Toronto was rumored after was Mangiapane.
Yes.
Ooh, wait, who was
Edmonton
rumored
is
after him,
also,
Cody?
Toronto.
A
He would
team.
have been a good pickup for them, actually.
One of the things that's also pretty surprising, Edmonton has been very quiet. So I don't know what.
Well, their big thing was they re-signed Evan Bouchard.
Yeah, but now that they moved Arvidsson out, they have a winger spot available here.
They have a winger spot available, but they only have $4.5 million. Like, they were right up against it up until they made that move to get rid of Arvidsson.
The Florida Panthers have signed goaltender Kirill Gerasimyuk on a 2-year entry-level deal.
There we go. There we go. Now I'm happy.
For those who don't know, Gerasimyuk was a draft pick
in Tampa.
2023.
Nick
21, 5th-round pick.
Abe
6'2",
Kubel.
6'3"
Nick
goalie out of
Abu
Russia.
Six-
I love him. That's the
Vince.
future in net. Bank it.
Vince.
Is
Nick
he really?
Abruzzi.
So
Guys.
tell us. Yeah, go ahead, Nick.
Nick Abruzzi to the Tampa Bay Lightning.
Oh my!
But day's ruined. I'm leaving. Goodbye. I'm kidding.
Hold on. The most important thing here is, what does this mean for Cooper Black?
It means
See
he's
you
got
later,
competition.
pal.
It means you've got competition, buddy.
He's not even on the development roster, camp roster list.
Well, that's because he already had a pro season.
Okay.
So,
People are asking that. Okay.
yeah. Usually, if you've played a season or so in the pros or you're kind of older, which Cooper Black kind of is older, they don't let you go to dev camp.
I think they only let
Sorry,
Knight come
Kirby?
back.
Florida and others have done that in the past.
Sort of, maybe.
I think they
Tanner
brought in
Pierce-
Knight back once because.
No, he brought him back because of the because of the OCD thing.
Yeah. Okay.
Tanner Pearson to Winnipeg, and also the Tampa Bay Lightning connection to Nikolai Ehlers is gaining some traction on social media as rumor
But
based.
that doesn't help them.
Doesn't make them tough.
Because they'd have to move out a winger to make room for him. So you'd have a new version of the same problem.
Yeah, and it's like, are you guys really scared of Nikolai Ehlers?
Just a perimeter player.
Not scared of him. I think I respect him, and I think he's a talented player, but I'm not scared of him.
I'm not worried about him in a playoff matchup.
To be fair, I have two of these little felt cup banners plugging my ears right now. So kind of hard to be scared when you have that.
But Tampa's gonna be like, oh, but we have the third one. Yeah, the third one that shouldn't have happened.
You mean the two from shortened seasons where you didn't play a full 82 games?
No, I'm more talking
If you're able
about.
to get
that's
one more,
cute.
Cody, we'll match them.
Yeah. Here's the thing: we're already halfway to the Rangers, and that's a original 6 franchise.
Yeah.
Yeah. 1940. Dun, 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 dun.
Like,
Because remember, Islanders fans used to chant that at Rangers fans all the time.
why is Brisebois just keep doubling down on wingers? I don't get that. Like, at least with Zito, he realized, okay, I need D. I'm gonna go get freaking Seth Jones. Like, Brisebois just said, I don't need D. I'm just gonna get rid of my potential number one D for Ryan McDonough to bring him back. Like, makes no damn sense.
More importantly, the team actually posted a file photo of Gerasimyuk. I had basically never seen an actual picture of him before.
I still have no idea what he looks like.
I know what he looks like in a goalie mask now.
But
Just to go back on the Montreal thing there, Zach Bolduc, does he take draws, play center at all?
No, he's a winger.
He's more of a wing guy.
Because if he does, then Montreal's line is pretty complete. They're just one center short, maybe a 4C. They got Jason's.
Of course, they bring in another winger.
They're stacked down the way.
I mean, an extra young forward doesn't hurt for Montreal. So
if they get that center, maybe a 4C, that's all they really need.
Yeah,
what's funny is I think they could have actually been a good fit for Bugstad, but he's off the market.
Yeah, I would have been.
They need a 2C. Screw a 4C.
They're running Doc there. Doc and Evans.
Yeah, but are you counting Doc's health?
You have to at this point.
And they got to move somebody.
Paying him $3.4 million.
Do you think they go get Pia Suter?
They don't have the cap for him.
Oh, yeah, that's right. They don't. Yeah, that's the other thing. Montreal doesn't
more
have
over the cap than
space.
we are.
Are they paying Line at 8.7?
Yeah.
That's
Yeah, they took that Line contract, I think, in full.
Yeah.
You know, they're getting saved by a lot of these rookies, like damn it, of 940.
They're getting saved by entry levels. Yeah.
950.
Yeah. Once those entry levels pop off, what's going to happen?
And remember, they still have to pay Jakub Dobesh.
Jakub Dobesh. Yeah, RFA.
Mm-hmm.
Wonder what they're doing there with Kakinen now.
Let's see. I mean, look at Kirill Gerasimyuk.
Yeah. He's not one of the super tall
So
ones, which is interesting.
Super
Because it
Marlins
must
with
mean
the
they really like him.
Super chat. Thanks, man. Once again,
Another
congrats on
super
your
chat.
Aaron Ekblad signed puck.
That's
Thank you.
JSA certified.
JSA certified.
Sadly,
as
Nick's
always.
not here to
Mention that.
tell you that, but I guarantee you it's JSA certified.
Okay, but you know, I did my roster for this because Kirby gave me the Nashville, so I created my fantasy roster for Nashville here. I don't know, like I'm very old, but I'm going for cups.
Gerasimyuk, 21 years old, 6'2", 179 pounds, 152nd overall pick in 2021. It's in the 5th round.
So we could go here for another 15 minutes. What do you guys say?
I could go for
Yeah,
another
that'll
30.
work.
I'm here all-
In
I'm
the
here all day.
VHL this season, so the Russian second division, played for 2 different teams. One in St. Petersburg, he had a 924 save percentage in 8 games. And the other, I'm not going to try and pronounce it. He had a 933 in 24 games. So pretty good couple seasons.
We're tripling down on Russian goaltenders, huh?
Bouncing between Russian juniors and their kind of feeder pro league.
But hey, if there's one country you want to go to for goaltending,
it's Russia.
It's Russia.
And it's, let me think, because Gerasimyuk, we drafted Gavrikmanov last year, and then we drafted Yegor Midlak with the last pick of this most recent draft. So we have 3 Russian goalies.
There's your boy.
Russia pipeline for the goalies, Alberta pipeline for the forwards. What are we doing with the D?
Moneyball.
Moneyball. Yeah, that's right. Parts unknown, right?
I mean, parts unknown, but Kirby, those parts unknown have also gotten us 2 straight cups. You're doing something right if you've gotten 2 straight cups.
Draft 1 defenseman with the picks we had this year. Was it 1?
We only drafted 1 defenseman, but it was a big, tall guy out of the West who's gets his elbows out and that sort of thing. Brendan Dunphy, 6'5", 207, WHL Wenatchee, elbows out, tough guy.
Okay.
San Diego. He's from San Diego too. Little fun fact. He was born in San Diego.
Yep, and California boy.
But
Kirby 6'5" for you.
He's a big boy.
Unfortunately, he's
out
left
of the West. But Kirby, he's a big guy out of the West. Come on.
Where's Ehlers going? I don't know.
I say Carolina, but the reports are saying Tampa is starting to gain traction for him.
Guys, I'm not going to be as hard on the right-handed D thing now. Nick knows this, talking to him. Signing Jones with Ekblad extended. You're now looking just for fillers that are right-handed D, guys.
Yeah.
You should be able to do that.
But for the first time in 2 years, we have 3 right-handed D on the roster.
Yeah, Petrie's a right shot defenseman.
Right. Benning in the wings.
With the possibility that Michael Benning could get some games here and there.
Yeah, look off. That's just
with some injuries.
I expect like $1.5 million from Mackey.
1.5 to 2 on like a 2-year bridge.
Yeah,
I've been around that 1.5 number. Some people have been lower. Some people have been a lot higher.
Some people were like, "Oh, $4 million." I'm like, "What?"
No,
like 2.5.
If he would have played in the playoffs, maybe the 2.5 million.
I think they'll get a Mackey deal done at some point, though. I don't think that's an area of concern.
I don't think we're really going to move anybody, make extensions until like later in the offseason.
Yeah,
I mean, he can't get offer sheeted, so
there's no rush.
You got patience.
Mackey's one of the guys who can't be offer sheeted.
You're not going to hear about the. I don't think
played enough seasons.
I don't think you're going to hear anything from us for a while. From the Panthers.
Mm-hmm.
You said that. You said that we're not going to make any signs. Then we made 3.
Yeah,
Maybe.
we signed our Russian
Danica,
goalie of the future,
Dmitry
one of our
Gerasimov.
3 Russian goalies of the future.
A hidden message there.
How old is he?
Who's Gerasimov?
21.
Yeah, 21.
21 years old.
He's probably about to turn 22, considering the 2-year entry level.
Yeah. Well, let me
Is it
just check on his
23 or 24 for entry levels?
I think it's 24.
So Vince, what did you say? If I missed that, sorry. What are the plans for him?
Who?
Simic.
Put him in the AHL. He competes with Black for games. I wouldn't be surprised if they sign a veteran to be like a third stringer, and then they kind of do sort of what they did this year, where they split the games among 3 goalies. Gerasimov will be turning 22 in August. August 22nd is his birthday. But I think because it's a Russian goalie, and goalies tend to have longer development curves anyway. You give him a few years in Charlotte. I assume, Bob will probably be 38, 39. You could have Gerasimov as the backup. It could be Cooper Black. It could be someone else we're not thinking of. I think the plan is have Gerasimov probably be the backup to a 38, 39-year-old Bob, and then hopefully he'll be ready to take over the starter's job when a 40 to 41-year-old Bob calls it a career.
So you're putting some stock into that.
I put some stock into him for sure.
Okay.
I like how they work. I question what they do with the defense, but I never do with the goal.
Here's the thing with Gerasimov. He's not a massive guy. Like, he's only listed at 6'2", but he's athletic. He's composed. Like, he has all of the attributes, like mentally and physically, that's like, okay, that's gonna be a good goalie.
What are some of his comps or draft comparisons when you?
Draft comparisons for goalies is it's like trying to compare like fish to each other. I don't know anyone who does that. Because basically it's like they're all the same. Like, yeah, they make saves.
Where do you compare him? Well, obviously, Knight's probably a better prospect, but how far off is he from Knight? Or what's the difference between him and Knight?
I think the difference between him and Knight, main thing would be the pedigree. Knight obviously was seen as a can't miss, legitimate goalie prospect, like the kind that comes around once, twice in a generation sort of thing. I think Gerasimov kind of is your basic Russian goalie where he has the base level of competence, and he's going to be athletic, and he's going to be kind of a heavy trainer, that sort of thing. What's interesting is him and Bob are the exact same height.
I have to ask, is this just a load of BS, or is this guy actually going to be able to maybe like play for us in the future?
I think he'll be able to play for us. Maybe not this season, but certainly I think he's
so
got.
Low in the goaltending department, Nick.
And wait.
I think Gerasimov could very well be this team's next starter when Bob retires.
And I have a comp. I have 2 comps actually from the Hockey Writers.
That is a shock that you're able to find player comps for goalies. That is a shock.
Eugene Helfrich.
Who's Eugene Helfrich?
I don't know. I just found it. His 2 comps, he says, and I am drawing comparisons to goalies like Igor Shesterkin and Ilya Sorokin.
Okay.
Oh, you meant the writer. I thought you were talking about a goalie named Eugene Helfrich.
The writer.
The writer.
That's
dude.
the writer. Okay, all right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean, it's a very similar path to Shesterkin.
Sorokin and
start out in
Shesterkin.
Russian juniors, end up 5th round picks, 6th round picks, that
look
sort
at
of
Jamie
thing.
here. Hold on. Look at
We drafted the next Tretiak.
I would love it if he became the next Vladislav Tretiak.
Funny?
I would love it.
I'll send you some. It's black and white film.
You know what's funny? Jamie didn't even want Seth Jones. You know what he wanted? He wanted the Panthers to sign Trevor Carrick out of Charlotte.
That's right. Is he not?
Hey, Jamie should have been like big season and should have hopped on the Charlotte train and given up some hype. I didn't see any of those videos.
Jamie wasn't hype there.
Who's the AHL's version of Busy Boy? Jamie could have started a war with them.
Right? We need that from you, Jamie, next
Why-
year.
Yeah, hold on, Jamie. Why are you not shouting out Greasy Keys? He comes by once in a while. And give Charlotte more of a shout. They want to get sponsorship off of us. You go work it for us for the Cats and Rats channel. So come on, Jamie. Let's move some things. We're building, right, Nick?
Oh yeah. What a day! What a day!
We have a segment for Jamie. We've missed them all year. Hopefully.
So just brief recap of the Panthers business. We signed Jeff Petrie to a 1-year league minimum deal. We signed Jack Studnicka to a 1-year 2-way deal. And then we signed Kirill Gerasimyuk to his entry level.
Good work between the pipes today.
Yeah. Organizational goalie depth. Gotta love it.
There we go.
That's Luongo doing
We
his
love
work.
our athletic Russian goalies in this community.
Yes, Jamie, we talked about earlier with Jim there. If you want to go back and check that out.
And so the funny thing is like, you want to know how to find a good goalie in the draft? You draft a lot of goalies.
Yeah.
Yep. Every year, every other year. I agree with that.
And Zito's draft one
every
And
single year.
Seventh round pick.
All of them. I think who was the earliest goalie he drafted? Like, might have been Glifford, maybe even Gerasimyuk.
Might be right.
Glifford's like 4th round.
No, Wickman was the 4th rounder that year.
Oh, I wasn't even thinking of him.
Well, Wickman's a defenseman.
Who did we draft this year?
Yegor Midlak, very last pick.
We drafted dang, what the heck? Wait, we don't say it. I want to see if Caesar can say the name.
No, oh my God.
Wait, this year? No,
Yes.
the Russian goalie this year, his name is easy.
Is it?
Yeah, Yegor
no.
Midlak.
No, not him.
Oh, you mean last year's?
Our
Oh, God.
first pick.
Oh, okay.
All right,
Pull it up.
Let's see
Yeah,
here.
Really?
Okay, I have it here. The highest drafted goalie in terms of overall pick in the Zito era is Gerasimyuk at 152. Glifford was taken at 159.
Okay.
No goalie has been taken earlier than the 5th round in the Zito era. Levi in the 7th, Gerasimyuk in the 5th, Muslik in the 6th, Glifford in the 5th.
All right.
The guy Caesar who's gonna have to pronounce his name at some point in the 7th.
Here we go.
And then Midlak this year.
There he is.
Caesar just left. Caesar just left.
There we go.
Here we go.
What is this ad? What the hell?
Get ad blocker, Cody. You got to get ad blocker.
All right, there we go.
Okay, Mads Kongsbach.
Okay.
I'll just say Mads Kong. Mads Kong.
Mad Kongsbeck Clevo.
Okay.
And then our next one. The next two. You should get these two.
Shea Bush.
Yep.
Shamar Moses.
Yeah. Shamar Moses.
Okay.
And then you have these two.
Here we go.
Arvid Dvorak.
Yes.
Yep, you got it.
Brandon Dunphy.
Yeah, Brendan Dumphy, and then last one.
Yegor Midlock.
Yeah.
More about Caesar's memory to the name, I think. It's not about like pronouncing it.
Yeah.
Yes,
Right.
it's the memory. Like when I
And you need to
if
have
I-
that in hockey because they're out there on the ice when you're calling games and I'm doing stuff in the broadcast. booth.
I always made nicknames for my players. So
You'll be like Jack Edwards and just like I still think my favorite
That's
thing,
what his real name is. Kulikov. Don't tell me I talked to his
Kulikov.
Lomborg. I hate that.
Lomborg. Remember when Kulikov got called Orlov for like the first half of like a game or whatever in the playoffs?
Oh,
Yes, I remember that.
That tweeted like, please stop calling him Orlov, please.
Yeah.
So stupid.
Imagine
hey,
Kongsbach
you guys want me-
Clevo on a line with Vyagin with Gabrik Manov in net. Oof.
Like I told you, I don't add a lot of people, but I'll add them on the announcers if they're really butchering our names. You guys just let me know.
I still think Jack Edwards, my favorite's his Balinskis one. He passes it over to number 26.
He doesn't even try.
Yeah, he never tried.
Nick, anything to pass on to Bobby Stauffer or anything like that? You let me know.
I would like to just say thank you to everybody for joining us on this stream today. Nothing
Hey,
but
wrap us up here.
We haven't had a signing in damn near 20 minutes.
yeah. Kirby, just been going 4 hours.
You're
Like,
wrapping up.
We've been going
So-
3 hours and 39 minutes. And what's been the big
Hey.
signing of the day?
That's a good
Vladislav Gavrikov, which we knew about.
Well, what we could do next year is July 1st after dark and review stuff.
that might be a lot better.
Yeah.
But if we have
Hey,
cap
but-
space next
Cody,
year,
Cody, remember, you got to start giving out your garbage can awards if we're going to be
that's
wrapping
right.
soon.
Oh man, where do I start?
Shouts out to RC, new pronouns, Dadonov and Petrovic.
You say pronouns?
That's what he said. Pronouns. Anyways, we can see. We can.
Hi, my name is Caesar. My pronouns are Dadonov and
Or
Petrovic.
Petrovic.
There we go. As you can see, it's time for us to get out of here.
All right, I'm saving that
Oh,
joke for the
God.
rest of the year. This is Caesar. His pronouns are Dadonov and Petrovic.
Holy crap!
Is that his Larry Allen moment?
Yes.
That is the reality.
Oh my goodness!
Oh,
Let's just be
man.
like, yeah,
God.
this is Caesar. Yeah, Petrovic over here
I
likes
had to look at
to.
my screen. I'm like, I don't think that's what RC wrote.
No, I am so sorry. Oh, man.
no, that was great. I needed that. that was my favorite part of the stream. But anyway, your trash can FSU FSU trash can deal of the day and GM of the day. There's a lot of competitors in this. Your FSU trash can deal of the day, I think, is going to go to Tanner Jeannot, 5 years, $3.4 million. And your FSU trash can GM of the day
We know who this goes to.
is Ken Holland
Yep.
for the Brian Dumoulin, Cody Ceci, and amongst other signings.
Shout out to our guy Rod Peterson at the Cats and Bolts podcast for breaking the Ken Holland news.
Yep.
Uh,
And
Now we'll see how long.
I just want to express my utmost shock at the fact that there was a GM award that somehow wasn't force-fed to Jim Nill. So,
that award has lost a lot of respect.
Oh boy, looking at Mitch Marner in a Golden Knights jersey is wild, and the analytics numbers they're breaking down right now on TSN.
And here's the best.
Cool.
And Kirby, here's the best part. He's no longer wearing 16. He's going back to his London Knights number 93.
Interesting.
You know who else wore 93 in juniors, but with Kingston?
Oh, that guy, killer.
Some guy who may have won the Conn Smythe Trophy. Someone's got to check that.
And Kirby, do
I
you
see.
know why Martyr could not wear 93 in Toronto?
What?
Dougie Gilmore?
Yeah,
Gilmore, killer.
yeah, Gilmore.
That's who I was thinking when Vince was saying.
Zev, I'm sorry.
I was reading that comment.
Imagine being in the other room. Oh, guys,
Somebody
close
else
it out.
Hey,
We have a
Zach,
third goalie.
Hey.
We
Zach,
have a third
No,
goalie.
hold on, Zach,
third?
don't blame me.
Wait. We have a third goalie. Who is it?
I wasn't here for the rundown.
Florida Panthers assigned Brandon Bussey.
Oh, not the Bussy. Like, it's just crazy. Hey, that's his name. It's Brandon Bussy, whatever the hell it is.
Oh yeah, from
I think
From Boston.
Boston.
From Boston.
Your
That's our
cousin.
guy,
From Boston.
The Bussy from Boston.
Stop.
Wait,
Anyway,
who said this?
I'm down for the count. That's it for me, guys.
Who said
Okay,
this?
so Charlotte, we were set for goaltending in Charlotte next year. It's another three-headed monster. It's Brandon Bussey, Cooper Black, and Kirill Gerasimchuk. There we go. We got our Charlotte goaltending figured out.
Brandon Bussey, 1 year,
Stop
2 weeks.
adding me on this stuff, please.
One of them's going to go to the E.
27 years old for Bussey.
Okay.
Give me a sec here.
You don't think?
What happened?
Maybe one of them will start in the E, but I think they just split it 3 ways. They did it last year pretty well with Applebee's.
So those are the 3. Where's Appleby? Not coming
Gone.
back.
He's going somewhere else.
Okay. Bussey.
There we go. That just made Kirby's day.
Who was
That
their
just
starting
made
goaltender
Kirby's
for
day.
the-
And he never has to see
for the
Ken
Ryder
Appleby
Cup?
in this organization ever
What happened,
again.
Caesar?
Who's their starting goaltender for the Cup?
Who?
For Charlotte?
It was
Bussy.
Capo
It's gonna be
Kapanen.
Bussy.
It was
It
Capo
was
Kapanen.
Kakinen last year, but it's going to be Bussy now.
But
Okay.
but Brandon Bussey, 6'4", 215, big goalie once again, following the new track line. He's from Sound Beach, New York. Last year played for Providence, had a 907 with a 277 goals against in the regular season. And then in the postseason, he had a 1-1 record with a 918 and a 242 242 goals against. So
Bill
If anybody wants a good laugh, just go take a look at the Panthers announcing this goalie and look at the comments.
Let's do it. Should we read through a greatest hit?
No.
So-
We're gonna wrap
Zach,
up.
come on, dude.
So again, Bill Zito had the day off, but Roberto Luongo did not in the goaltending department.
No.
Does anybody- anything else? And
No, I'm good. You guys are let's go.
I'm running on fumes here.
Yes. Thanks,
Yeah, I'm
everybody.
all good.
Yeah, fumes, I barely any sleep.
Once again, shout out to our sponsors, Caseburg. Go check them out in Davie. Shout out to our other sponsor, Jeremy Beckham, with that Next Home Treasure Coast.
Shout out to Super Marlins as well. Our content, more
Yep.
content to follow.
Shout out to Brandon Bussey. Welcome to the Florida Panthers.
I'm reading these comments now. They are hilarious.
But dude,
Anything
Wait,
else,
He is
gentlemen?
not amused.
I'm ready to wrap.
I am too, man.
We really appreciate
Don't
everybody.
worry, I'm not going to read them out on the air, but you will see me like.
Yes.
That's the best.
hey, LA King fans are asking for Rob Blake to come back.
And before we go, Matt Murray to the Seattle Kraken, 1 by 1. Thank you, everybody.
That's not a bad move for Seattle.
So they got 3 goalies? What the hell?
Thank you, everybody. Make sure to keep updated on the YouTube channel. Kirby's, Cody, Vince, Caesar, all of our Twitter pages are in the link below and on the ticker on the bottom of the screen. Thanks to Jim for joining us again. And the last 2 days, last 48 hours have been kind of crazy, but the off season is officially about to get boring. So we'll post some episodes, maybe do some spaces, right, Kirby? But
We're gonna do ranking shows. We're gonna do a lot.
ranking
We're
shows and
be
stuff
doing
like
some
that.
hangouts and stuff like
Mhm.
that. So,
So
definitely.
for everybody
That's
here, from the playoff run to the free agency coverage, it was
Thank you.
crazy. Thank you very much for all your support. And as always, let's go Cats.
It's football season, baby. Yes, sir.
What's up, Cats and Rats fans? If you enjoyed that video, be sure to hit the like and subscribe button before you head out. If you're listening to us on Apple and Spotify, make sure you leave us a 5-star review. And just like always, let's go Cats.